give or take maybe 2 or 3. But you got to keep your leader's jersey clean. And then, speaking of clean, let's keep the laundry off the field. The penalties have been an issue. They are top 10 in penalty yards per game. And, Tim, that is not a good top 10 to be in.
That's the time when you click it, you want to just hit the reverse button. 2 weeks ago, they tallied over 150 yards of penalties against Arizona Christian in a game you lose by 3. So you don't have to do too much math to say if that's a typical 80-yard penalty game, you're probably winning. So you've got to keep it clean today.
You have to believe that directly impacted the result of that game. Let's go to the other side. Let's talk about the Aggies and what they have to do to walk out of Waxahachie with a win today.
Well, on the note of mistakes, neither of these teams is great on turnovers. OPSU is -5 in the turnover margin this year. SAGU, worse in the conference at -6. So if OPSU can win that turnover battle, something they've actually been solid on individual weeks. They had 3 defensive touchdowns in one game earlier this season. So if they can win that turnover battle, that just flips the field on SAGU. Whenever you're stealing possessions, that means you're stealing points. Second, they've got to get better on third downs. They only convert around 28.4% of third downs. So when you're getting a third down situation and you're only getting a quarter of those times, that's too many punts. And, of course, third down conversions are directly tied to what is that third down. A 3rd and 1 and a 3rd and 9 are very different. So get in makeable third down situations and convert those when you can. Last, hold SAGU under 370. SAGU's offense averages around 370 yards a game. Meanwhile, OPSU is giving up 447 yards a game. So if they can hold SAGU to their average or below, that means their game plan is working on the field, and look for them to be ahead in that scenario.
I think we're in store for a very good game here today in Waxahachie between two teams that, like you said, the key word in today's game is going to be momentum, what you want to carry on with you into a short off season into the fall of 2020. And obviously, both of these teams want to win this game and keep that momentum going. Don't go anywhere. We're going to be right back with some players to watch. We're going to get into the nitty-gritty of some of the players that you're going to be watching today. Don't go anywhere. Coming right back at you right here on the SAGU Sports Network.
Is your church looking to build a new facility, purchase property, renovate your current building, or set up a capital campaign? The North Texas District Church Loan Fund can help. The NTD Church Loan Fund has helped over 200 Assembly of God churches in the state of Texas expand their ministries through loans and investments. We know this can be a challenging task, and we want to make it easier for you. Looking for investment options? Invest with a purpose. Investing with the NTD Church Loan Fund combines competitive rates and flexible terms with kingdom impact. Let's build the kingdom of God together. Visit churchloanfund.ag today.
Welcome back to the SAGU Sports Network. Before we get into the players to watch here, if you have not already given us a follow or a like on all of our social media platforms, go ahead and do so to stay up to date with SAGU sporting news as well as other news around the Sooner Athletic Conference. You can even get your comment featured on air today if you comment on YouTube or Facebook, however you choose to do so. Even tweet at us to get your comment featured on air, and we may even point it out and maybe make a little bit of conversation of some of our viewers. It's definitely fun seeing an outside perspective brought to our attention and then getting to talk about it a little bit. But
just don't sound too much smarter than us. That hurts our feelings.
Well, it's not that hard. Tim, let's go into OPSU. What some of the players that we're going to keep an eye out for on today.
First things first, got to watch out for QB Casey Crandall. He's the one that broke a long touchdownless streak with that last-second game-winning touchdown pass last week versus Lyon College. See there, stats aren't going to blow you away for what he's done for the season so far, but coming off that momentum, that's our keyword today is momentum of finishing that game off strong last week. Look for him to try to carry that into this last game and have a great game. Next up is running back Jamarian Jones. He is what you would call a feast or famine back. You see that average of 57 rushing yards a game. He has had games of 110, 153, and 154 rushing yards, as well as games of 10, 16, and 13. So when he gets going and changes the game. If he's held in check, he's not breaking 20. So if he can have one of those feast games, he'll be moving the ball down the field. Last up, linebacker Daquan Thomas. Charles. He is all over the field on every single play. He is one of the best tackle for loss guys in the NAIA, averaging around 2 a game in the top 25. just all across the board. 5 sacks, 56 tackles, 36 of them solo. He will be flying all around today trying to hamper that SAGU offense. Speaking of that SAGU offense, who are some of your key guys today, Adam?
I did my best. You know I love my quarterbacks, but I did my best to keep the quarterback position off the players to watch, to keep it fair. The first is going to be Keaton Dudek. Now, speaking of quarterbacks, he has been Jordan Barlow's favorite weapon and target this year. You're looking at his rushing numbers at the top half of that graphic, but his receiving numbers, he's got the most receptions on the team and is right up there with in terms of reception yards. He is the definition of safety blanket, check down receiver for Jordan Barlow, and he's not afraid to dink and dunk to Dudek because he is an absolute threat and beast in the opening field. So keep an eye out for number 5 today, Keaton Dudek. Moving on to the defensive side of the ball, a little bit of special teams as well. Jalen Moss, I have written here he might be the most exciting player that SAGU has. He's not jumping out on the stat sheet. He does have a lot of tackles. He leads the team in tackles. 1 pick, 18 solos, so he's good at tackling in the open field. But a lot of the things he does is it shows up on the stat sheet in terms of punt return yards and kick return yards. When he has got the ball in his hands, he turns into a running back. And it's really something special to watch because you can tell every time he gets the chance, he wants to make a play for his team, whether it be defensively or on special teams. It's just been one of the more special players to watch in Jalen Moss, and keep an eye out on number 4, Jalen Moss. He is sick.
Yeah, you say his stats don't jump off the sheet. If anything, that would scare me if I'm the Aggies because the law of averages is going to bear out at some point, and he's going to break some big plays. And so if he breaks them today.
Absolutely. And then moving on to the third player, we're kind of looking for a little bit of a milestone today. Drake Rodriguez, one of the defensive linemen here for SAGU, comes in today half a sack away from getting double-digit sacks on his career, which only a handful of SAGU Lions have done. We're talking about the Matt Leiters and Devon Browns of the world. It's not something that's common when it comes to the SAGU defensive line. They historically haven't forced a ton of pressure, but Drake Rodriguez, keep an eye on him today. If you don't see his number, just look for the hair. Again, he's just a sophomore, so to be this close to double-digit sacks this early on in his career, he's going to go down as one of the all-time great SAGU pass rushers. Again, needs half a sack today to get double digits for his career. And again, number 11, but look for the hair.
Yeah.
You'll definitely see it.
Because there's a good chance you can't see the number on the back. So that's all you got to look for. So team's about to take the field, and some just, final wrap-up thoughts. Like you said, momentum, but also kind of some season-defining stuff. 2019, essentially last season as it gets for football, SAGU didn't win a game. They went 0-10.
Yep.
They've already accomplished so much here in this janky back-and-forth cancellation, postponed season, sit here at 3-3. If you can go get that 4th win, first of all, you're guaranteed no worse than a 3rd-place finish in conference with the head-to-head win over Langston, and you would post a winning record on the season. So that is something to hang your cap on. That's why you're showing up today, putting everything on the field to go win for that defining thing, because it makes a difference. This is a program that didn't have a team with a winning record until 2012.
Right.
And so that is still something special out here when you can go back, especially when you didn't win a game last year, come back and post a winning record. So there's still a lot on the line today for SAGU. And as I mentioned earlier, for the Aggies, go 3-3 in spring ball. Say, hey, fall, who even knows what was happening last fall anymore? We can't remember back that far. Go 3-3 in spring ball, go 3-2 in conference, and move into 2021 with your eyes held high.
And looking at 2021, normally you're looking at a 9-month off season roughly, where you're lifting weights, you're working out with your team, you go home for the summer. You're not with your team in that aspect, but now you're looking at a 6-month turnaround. Maybe not even earlier. Maybe a 3 or 4 month turnaround.
4.5, 5 months, probably at most, before you're back out here playing football again. So yeah, this is, you had a longer break between your fall game and your spring game than you might have between your spring game and your next fall game. So a lot on the line today when you look at just how quick 2021's official season is going to start off.
Before you know it, we're going to be right back here in these chairs calling the first home game for SAGU. It's going to be crazy. So we are looking at the opening festivities here between the Aggies and the SAGU Lions. Again, the final home game and the last broadcast here for the SAGU Sports Network for the spring of 2021 before we roll into the fall. There we see an opening comment there by Vinny Bailey. Let's go SAGU, 99, my son. Hey, we know who number 99 is.
You cannot miss him. As we said before with 99, the reason he has that is he's the only guy who the number will fit on.
Big Keandre Belcher just has been an absolute force on the SAGU team this season. And so far in his career, he was one of the spotlighted players last week. Has just been an absolute wrecking ball on that SAGU defensive line, constantly drawing double teams. We are going to send you live to the field for the coin toss, national anthem, and opening prayer. Don't go anywhere. Aggies versus Lions coming your way right here on the SAGU Sports Network.
Welcome to Lunkin Stadium in Waxahachie, Texas, for this contest between your SAGU Lions and the Aggies of Oklahoma Panhandle State University. At this time, we ask everyone to please stand and remove your hats as we honor God in prayer. Then please remain standing and face the flag as we honor our nation with the singing of the national anthem, performed by SAGU Assistant Athletic Trainer Danielle Leonard. Heavenly Father, we thank you for another day, a wonderful day that's not promised to us. And Lord, I pray that you be with all the players and be with us on our travels back home. We pray, Lord, that we give you all the praise and glory in everything that we do. We love you and we thank you. In Jesus' name, amen.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets break clear, the bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the lands of the free and the home of the brave?
There you have it. We are set to go underway here between the Aggies wearing their gray road uniforms against the SAGU wearing the purple tops, gray bottoms. SAGU is receiving because the Aggies did defer to the second half. We're facing a little wind action here in Waxahachie as the ball falls off the tee. It is about 12 miles an hour right now, blowing about diagonally across the field, maybe a little straight from left to right of your screen. So that will definitely favor the Aggies to start this game as SAGU will be going into the wind. And we are underway. It is a low line drive kick. It's going to be fielded. And taking off towards the middle of the field is Zachary Johnson. Makes a man miss, cuts it up, and he's going to get brought down just shy of the 30-yard line. They're going to mark him down at the 29, and that's where SAGU and Jordan Barlow and Keaton Dudek will start today's game.
SAGU had a really hot start 2 weeks ago, came right out and scored a touchdown. Unfortunately, they weren't able to score another touchdown until their last drive of the game to tie it up. But as we know, left around too many seconds on the clock, and that's what led to the loss. So you want to start off strong, but you want to make sure and continue it throughout the game. You don't want to start scoring your first and last drive only.
Here is Barlow. He sends in motion Jamal Long. 3 out wide to his right. Takes a snap, he's back to pass. Lobs it across the middle to his man for a short gain. That's going to be Blaine Rowe.
Haven't seen a whole lot of tight end action this year for SAGU. It has not been focused on there, but we see early on making Blaine Rowe a factor. Sees the underneath man on the 3-man outside set. Only picks up about a gain of 2, we'll call it. Bring up 2nd and 8.
Brought down by Jaquavion Daniels. 2nd and 8, here's Barlow. 2 out wide either side. They bring the blitz, short pass, off target for Zachary Johnson, so it's going to be 3rd and long.
Yeah, they're just a little bit behind him, and you had pretty much blanket coverage there by Antonio Vaughn on the outside. So even if it had been on target, that is probably getting broken up.
3rd and 8, and this is one of the situations we talked about against the Firestorm. This is where SAGU does not want to be. They do convert at a high rate, but it's not because they're good at these 3rd and 8. It's because they face a lot of 3rd and short down situations. So first 3rd down for the game here for SAGU's offense. We're going to have an empty backfield here for Barlow. He pumps. Back to pass, goes across the middle. It's brought in and caught, makes a man miss, and he's going to get brought down, but not before he gets a first down. That is Zachariah Johnson for the first down and move the chains for the Lions.
This is a lot of pre-snap motions in and Dudek out to the left. Spreads that field out just enough. Zachariah Johnson plants his feet, finds the open spot, makes a good move afterwards, almost breaks free. And that's a big 3rd and 8 conversion here on the first drive.
Here is Barlow in the shotgun, sends a man in motion. He's going to lob it out to Long. Long brings it in one hand. He's going to throw a stiff arm, carrying the defender with him, and he's brought down past midfield into SAGU territory, out of bounds, right at the 34-yard line.
And Demetrius Pruitt gets totally thrown out of position here. Not sure what he was biting on. Oh, Long might have got away with a little bit of a push there, but it was thrown in. If it had been zipped in a little bit faster, Long might have been able to go the distance with it. As it is, a great first down play down to the 34-yard line.
The 6'3" freshman Jamal Long going up with one hand to bring that one in. First down, here is Barlow. He's going to hand it off. Here's correction, that is Zarius Keys gets his first carry of the game. Takes it up the middle and moves the chains for the first down.
Yeah, goes for 13 yards. And you're just going to see the gap open right there, as well as a guy who had a shot at Dudek, but Barlow did a good enough job of selling that he may still have the ball, that he just ran right past Keys, that is, for a big first down run.
A good offensive series here for the Lions as they have another new set of downs. Barlow keeps it himself. He's going to cut back up to midfield. That was a late keeper by Barlow, but a good decision as he picks up 8 on first down.
That is the key to these option plays, is freezing the defense. He's running the whole way, and he holds it on for long enough that you'll see right there, number 90 for OPSU, Braden Price, finally bites and goes for Keys, and that gives Barlow his move. So that is all about locking eyes with the defender and making him make a decision. And once he makes a decision, you make yours.
2nd and short here for Barlow. Sends a man in motion. He's back to pass. He's going to lob it up to Long. Long or rather that is Zachary Johnson, just out of his reach. Maybe a little bit of miscommunication there on the fade attempt to the end zone.
And yet again, good coverage by number 9 for OPSU, Antonio Vaughn. We've seen 2 plays now that he has been blanketed on Zachary Johnson. The big 3rd and 2 here, especially with the wind blowing like this. No field goal is guaranteed, so you want to make you want to get a first down.
3rd and short. They will hand it off to Keys. Keys gets tripped up and brought down for no gain. So that's going to bring up 4th and short here. And it doesn't look like there's any movement from the SAGU sideline. It looks like they will go for it here on 4th down.
Yeah, and that is just an amazing shoestring tackle made right there by number 29, Fernando Bryant, getting into the backfield, getting a hold of that foot. Otherwise, Keys is probably going to pick that up around the edge. He has the speed to beat you there to the corner. So, yeah, 4th and 2, SAGU going for it here on the first drive of the game.
Here is Barlow. He's going to hand it off to Keys. Keys lowers the shoulder, moves the pile, and picks up the first down behind a cloud of dust. And that is a good conversion there, bringing it down to the 10-yard line.
It's nice to be able to rely on the fact that your offensive line can win those battles, push it just enough, and then you're counting on Keys' speed to get there before the defense is really able to respond. You got to win that initial stand-up, that initial thrust. When you only need 2 yards, that's all you need. You're not trying to score a touchdown there. You're not trying to break a big play. And that can affect the offensive line strategy. You're not trying to open a gaping hole. Just knock them 1 yard back and trust your running back can use the momentum to get the other yard.
It will be 1st and goal from the 10-yard line. No more first downs. He sends Dudick in motion. Hands it off to Keys, and Keys gets brought down for a loss of 1 there on first down.
Yeah, another good job by OPSU of breaking into the backfield.
Matt
Hernandez with their 2nd tackle for a loss here on the first drive. So we mentioned early on about how they have a player who leads the NAIA or is in the top of the NAIA with getting tackles for loss. But the whole team so far is coming together to put SAGU on their heels a little bit.
2nd and goal now from the 11. Barlow with 3 out wide to his right. He is back to pass. Dumps it off to Keys. Keys trying to get to the outside, throws a stiff arm, but he's going to get brought down by a host of Aggie defenders, and he goes for about 1 yard, and it's going to be 3rd and goal from the 10.
Right here, yeah, just with the pressure coming, that forces Barlow to settle for the underneath pass, and there were just too many Aggies between Keys and the end zone. Was unable to really get any momentum there at all, and only gains back the yard he lost on the previous play. So another big 3rd down. SAGU's faced a couple of them here on the first drive. This one's got to go in the end zone.
Barlow takes a snap. He's back to pass. He's going to the corner of the end zone off the hands of Blaine Rowe. Almost had a shot at a one-hand grab for a touchdown. But that is going to bring up 4th down, and they will bring on the kicking unit led by Seth Green for a short field goal here.
Yeah, Rowe almost pulled that in. Barlow put it where it had to go to potentially be a scoring play, but the drive stalls at the 10, so now it'll be up to Green and company to make sure this drive comes away with some points. About a 27-yarder.
It is Kieran Woodley, Green to hold. Seth Green, the punter, Woodley, the place kicker, and it's up and good, and SAGU goes out to a 3-0 lead on their first drive. A couple of 3rd down conversions, a 4th down conversion. You got to be happy coming away with points.
It was a solid drive. You had the big 3rd and 8 conversion earlier on in the drive. You get the 4th down conversion. Now you end up essentially netting no yards after that 4th down conversion, but you liked what you saw there. Got a couple of good runs out of Keys, a couple of nice passes from Barlow. Even the last pass was where it needed to be to potentially be a touchdown. So you liked what you had there. Really, you got stuck in a tough situation. You always hate those 1st and goals from the 10. It does you no benefit. You're starting 10 yards out still, and then the defense is only defending a 20-yard patch of grass. That really gives the defense the upper hand on the play calls. So, yeah, SAGU just kind of got into a bad spot on that drive, but they like what they saw at the beginning, and it's good to come away with points anytime you start the game with the ball. When the other team defers, you really need to get points on that drive. See here again, that's kind of the biggest play of the drive to long that got SAGU into OPSU territory. That's a short kickoff. That's a live ball.
It is a live ball. He ends up picking it up. And here's a lot of Lions there to meet him, but he breaks a tackle, gets it past the 20. A good job to make something out of essentially nothing there by Jashawn Brown on the kick return.
Yeah, that's it. That was a dangerous situation with the ball just sitting still at the 14-yard line. And he weaves his way for a full 8 or 9 yards. Would look like he was dead to rights at around the 14 himself. So setting up just 2 yards back from where a touchback would have been.
And here comes this offense led by freshman Casey Crandall from Winfield, Kansas. He's going to go back to pass, swings it out to the left side. It's completed, and he's got a little bit of room to run. He's met and brought down after a good gain of about 8 there.
And what you love to see here is all of the pre-snap motion. You have 2 guys that you hand it off to, so you have a play-action situation, then you throw it out into the flat, and you pick up a nice chunk of yards here on first down, bringing it up 2nd and 2.
Second and short here for the Aggies. Just going to hand it off up the middle, and he's going to get just enough to move the chains for an Aggie first down.
Yep, that's just straight up the middle. Picking up, yeah, pretty much the few that he needed.
Crandall hands it off again, this time brought down quickly by a man we mentioned in the pregame. Loss of 1 on the tackle by Keandre Belcher.
Yeah, Jamarian Jones is just going to get buried here by Belcher, who pretty much came untouched. And it's hard to not bump into Keandre Belcher. you can barely get past a Walmart aisle without bumping his shoulder with him, but he came in untouched.
It will be 2nd and 11. Crandall hands it off again. Another stop by this Lions front defensive line. That time it looked like a group effort, but right in the middle, Keandre Belcher. Also in on the stop was Joseph Chavez.
Yeah, just winning at every single level there. That was a total cave by the SAGU defensive line and brings up a 3rd and very long for a team that only, as I said pregame, converts around a quarter of the 3rd down scenarios anyways.
3rd and long, 3rd and 12. 3 out wide to the right for Crandall. He's back to pass, flag on the field. He completes it across the middle. There's a first down for the time being, and then some as they get into SAGU territory, and then a flag is going to come out. I thought a flag was going to come out. The official had a hand on the flag on the sideline as there was some extracurricular happening after the tackle, but we'll see what the call is here.
Seth Barbarino is going to make the catch here. We'll see what the call. So it's on SAGU, and the penalty will be declined. So the big pass from Crandall to Barbarino will stand on just a solid kind of crossing post route from Seth Barbarino. And Casey Crandall just zipped it in there. Barbarino did the rest with the running down into SAGU territory at the 46-yard line.
Quick snap. Here's Crandall. Slings it out to his right side, but brought down immediately by Jalen Moss. What a play there in the open field. We talk about his ability to make those tackles in the open field, and there we saw it.
Yeah, just pretty much coming out of the blocks. That's just a sprint from the start of the play. He sees immediately where this ball is going. He sees Barbarino looking the whole way, and he's saying, nope, this is not getting past me. Good wrap-up tackle. Jalen Moss is not the biggest guy, and Barbarino is sitting out there at 5'11", 185, so kind of equal strength, and good job of bringing him down.
Crandall back to pass. He swings it out to the flat, and a big hit resulting in an incomplete pass. Laying the wood was Demarius Herron. Wow. Even if that pass is completed, it is going nowhere.
It's almost a good thing that it was dropped, because that's probably a 2-yard loss, because Herron, these defensive backs for SAGU are zoning in, showing absolutely no concern with sprinting towards where the play is happening right now. And it's resulted in some big hits here early on. And another 3rd and long for the Aggies.
3 stacked to the left here for Crandall. He is back to pass, 3rd and long. Deep drop, going across the middle, incomplete, broken up, and it falls. Jalen Moss again making a play on the ball and creating the separation from the receiver results in a unsuccessful 3rd down and 4th down here for the Aggies.
Yep, just enough pressure on him to kind of keep in the back of his mind. This is going to be a tough catch to make. Bounces off his fingertips. And a nice stop by SAGU after giving up a 3rd and 13, making a couple of big 1st and 2nd down plays and not allowing the pass to be connected that time. And so with just over 6 minutes remaining, the Aggies will punt and some pressure from SAGU.
Jalen Moss back to return, but they kick it away from him. Maybe, possibly a wise decision as it bounces inside the 15 and will be downed at the 14-yard line. And that's where Jordan Barlow and this Lions offense, call it the 13-yard line, that's where this Lions offense will come out here and see if they can go back-to-back drives with a score.
Not the most ideal starting field position. Anytime you get pinned inside the 15, it's a tough drive ahead of you. SAGU will come out. Keaton Dudek won't come out with the team to start off. So far, Dudek's been crucial to a couple of the plays, but he hasn't actually had a touch yet. So interesting to kind of see them running with keys right now to start the game off.
Here is Barlow, a stack formation was right. He sends a man in motion. Barlow takes a snap, touch pass around the edge. Here's Johnson. Johnson trying to stretch the field and does not do so. He's going to be brought down for a gain of 1, and he was lucky to get just that 1.
Yeah, just great response here by the entire Aggies defense, crashing over there. Another gang tackle. The Aggies have been doing a good job of getting 2 or 3 guys to the ball and not allowing an athletic guy like Johnson to break loose and go for more.
2nd and 9 here for the Lions. It looks like they actually gave Johnson 2 yards on that touch pass. So it's going to be 2nd and 8. Here's Barlow. Barlow, quick handoff to Dudek, and Dudek cannot find any room, and he's brought down for no gain. That'll be 3rd and long here, similar to what we saw on that first drive. On the first set of downs, Dudek is slow to get up.
Yeah, Braden Price, you kind of see him as he's going around the ankles there. That can always be dicey for a running back, as it was Braden Price who shred his way in to hold him for no gain and just going around the legs. And that seems to be what is ailing Dudek at the moment, his left knee. As just a typical wrap up at the legs tackle. Trainer helping him up and
see if he can get off on his own strength. He's not putting a lot of weight on that, on that left ankle.
Definitely being cautious with it at the moment, and actually need a little bit of help to get off the field now. And now putting no weight on it, so not what you want to see if you're the Lions, having a crucial piece of your offense here in just the 2nd drive of the game, needing help to get off the field.
We will keep an eye on that as the game progresses. But with about 5 minutes left in the first quarter, SAGU faces a 3rd and 8 as they do get the clock moving. Barlow comes out 4 wide, 3 to his right, 1 to his left.
And this is a big spot to try to make a conversion. Otherwise, you're punting with your punter standing in the end zone. Good field position coming up for the Aggies.
And into the wind, too. So it could be, like you say, dicey. Here's Barlow. He's going to check it down to Keys. Keys cannot bring it in. Not sure he was going to get enough for the first down, as it was just the check down for Barlow. But that will bring up 4th down here for SAGU as Seth Green comes out to punt.
And this is another great situation of coverage. Everybody downfield was covered to where Keys was the only guy that Barlow had a shot at going to. We've already seen him have to do that a couple of times, settle for Keys underneath. And in a 3rd and 8 situation, I mean, if he catches it, there's always a chance. But there were, as always, 2 Aggies bearing down on him. And so SAGU's offense will go 3 and out here on their 2nd drive, holding a 3-0 lead.
Here's the punt by Green. It's end over end.
Oh,
it looks like it touched an OPSU player. It doesn't matter. It is brought in by the Aggie return man. There is a flag on the field, as it looks like there was a little bit of a scrum there between an Aggie and a Lion. It ended up with George Dominguez being put on his back. We'll see what the flag is
with
here.
the ball right at midfield. This will be a big call.
Yes,
whichever way it goes. It's going to majorly impact this field position. As we watch the replay here, that does appear to go off an Aggie.
Heads-up play, though, by the return man to bring that one in cleanly and make sure that it wasn't picked up by anybody. It looks like it's going to go against OPSU.
Holding, so the ball will get moved back 10 yards back to the OPSU side of the field.
And you see holding, it will go against OPSU. So that will move them back 10, which is fortunate because it was about at midfield, the original spot.
Now, actually, the ruling that they're making is that it went off a SAGU player at the 45-yard line, which means the ball couldn't go any further, so even though it was picked up. So it will now be 1st and 10 from the OPSU 45. So that's what it's hard to see on our camera angle who exactly it bounced off of.
It was a group of everybody, so it's definitely hard to see.
Yeah, so initially it looked like it might have gone off an OPSU player, but the ruling is it went off a SAGU player. And in another case, heads-up play, because once it touches a SAGU player, you can fumble it, lose 15 yards, doesn't matter. The worst you can do is where the kicking team made the contact, although they're still discussing it. So maybe they are still discussing who it went off of. You have one ref who was marking it around the 45, 46, the other who was standing at the 50. So I bet you that's the exact discussion we're having right now, is who touched that ball, because it determines where it'll be placed.
It looks like the official is going to mark it from the 50.
Yeah, we'll watch.
And he will. He's going to take it all the way back to the 40.
So we watched the replay here. The replay does seem to show that it does hit an OPSU player, and that's so we were right the first time. That is the conclusion that the refs are going to come to. So they will mark it back from the 50-yard line where the play ended. So it will be 1st and 10 from the 40 after a little discussion, making sure they get it right there on the field. So not a bad little punt for SAGU now. Punting inside your own end zone, 40-yard line's about the best you can hope for, so a little bit of help from the holding penalty.
We get a stoppage in play here. The officials want to talk about something else here after they march off the 10-yard penalty. Not sure what the conversation that's happening is. It looked like we were ready to play, and then there's a stoppage.
Maybe one guy just yells in, are we really sure? Let's let's talk this over one last time.
There you see score update, Ottawa up 21-7 over Langston as we are ready to play here now after the discussion by the officials. 4:30 left to play in the first quarter. As Casey Crandall comes out on offense with 3 wide, 2 to his left, 1 to his right. And he is going to hand it off, knifing through the defenders for a pretty good carry there on first down. Gain of 5.
Jamarian Jones, and he got thrown for a loss on his 2 carries the last drive, so finally gets a little bit of room to work with and picks up 5. I said pregame, he's the feast or famine back. It's either 100-yard games or 10-yard gains. So.
2nd and 5 here for the Aggies. Crandall sends a man in motion, touch past his man going to the left side. He's got a lot of room to run. He's past the 50, out of bounds, just shy of the 40-yard line. Gave it to the speedster that time, Sharjay Hunt.
Yeah, Hunt's going to take a long path to get there, head back behind the line of scrimmage. But once he had the corner, he had plenty of room to work with. And Isaac Gowdy had to hustle in to throw him off his feet to keep that from going for even more.
He's going to pitch it out to his right, looking to make a move in the open field. He makes a man miss. Now he's got a blocker in front of him, throws a stiff arm, cuts it back up, down past the 30. Another first down here for the Aggies. It looked like Jalen Moss had a shot at him in the open field and just could not complete the tackle. And there you see the pitch to Demetrius Pruitt.
Yeah, I love the trickery, the play action and then going to the outside option. And then it was pretty much one-on-one. Jalen Moss trying to come in and make the tackle. He sheds his way free of that and picks his way down to the 30-yard line. And so OPSU moving quickly.
Back to pass, deep drop. He's got some time. He's going to roll out. He's going to throw it deep off his back foot. It is incomplete, well out of bounds. Good coverage there by the Lions. Demarius Herron, the one on the primary coverage.
And some nice pressure coming into Crandall's face. from number 46, Joseph Chavez, forcing that ball to come out, making sure Crandall had no option to get to the corner and run for anything.
2nd and 10 here for the Aggies, coming up on 3 minutes left to play in the first quarter. SAGU with a 3-0 lead. Crandall takes the snap, hands it off, up the middle, stopped short right at the line. Actually a loss of 2 there by the Lions defensive line, and that defensive line is making some plays today.
They are breaking right up the middle, and it's hard to even pinpoint where the point of fracture is happening. It's just SAGU is winning at every single chain link right now. When they're winning up front, that's the 3rd time that they have thrown Jones for a loss here just on the 2nd drive of the game. So tackles for loss on both sides of the ball are becoming a theme today as the defensive lines are having some nice plays. Another 3rd and very long for the Aggies.
Zachary Nelson on the stop. Crandall sends a man in motion to his left. 3rd and long. He's going to hand it off. And it looks like they were conceding the drive at that point, and the Lions oblige. No gain there on 3rd down. It will be 4th and 12 here for the Aggies.
Yeah, just stuck standing still, and the offense may not be moving.
It is 4th and long here. I don't see a punter coming onto the field.
I mean, this is that maroon zone area where I'm not sure how much more good a punt will do you, unless we're about to see a pooch punt here, but they're going to go for it on 4th and 12.
Here's Crandall back to pass. Looking deep down the field, has a man across the middle, it's complete, and he's going to go all the way for an OPSU touchdown, a breakdown in coverage, and Crandall, the freshman, finds the hole in the zone, and he gets the pass completed to his man across the middle, and they take a 6-3 lead.
Yeah, and Crandall he probably can't believe his eyes on how open his receiver got there. Just dropping back, looking, and just obviously some missed assignments on SAGU's end. As Crandall on 4th and 12, we were surprised that they were going for it.
I guess we shouldn't have been.
And they convert for a 32-yard touchdown pass. Oh, loose snap here, and that's going to be buried for a loss, so they'll only get 6 on the bobbled hold.
And that could come into play later. It's now just a 3-point game, so SAGU is able to deny the point after attempt.
Yeah, just going to come in a little bit too low there. Crandall was unable to corral it. Still, what a turn of events there after losing yards and then kind of running an ill-advised run on 3rd and 12 that gained you absolutely nothing. And at that point, we even said I almost felt like they're conceding the drive because it gained no yards at all.
Guess not.
But they stayed on the field and made it happen. We got a Sooner Athletic Conference update here. The Firestorm already conference champions, already up 14-0 over the Wayland Baptist Pioneers. Game that appears to be happening out there at beautiful Wayland University. Firestorm up 14-0 in the first quarter. Looking to finish off a 9-1 season if they were to win this one. 6-0 in conference and would be eyeing the NAIA playoffs at that point.
Very successful season for the Firestorm.
Very successful.
Got to be happy with that.
And if you're SAGU, you're kind of proud that you had 2 games that you almost won both of them.
Absolutely. So here on the return, it was a short kick. He's got a huge hole down past the 40, down past the 50, lowers the shoulder, and is driven out of bounds by the up man that time, Colby Tanner. We don't see him get his hands on the ball a lot, but that time took the short kick and the Red Sea parted, and he had a huge hole to go through.
Yeah, just not a very good kick coverage scheme from the Aggies. That hole was evident from the start. And yeah, you're almost never going to see Tanner come away with the ball, and usually if he does, it's advisable just to take the fair catch. I think he was able to see that the coverage team was just not in the right position there. Picks up a solid kick return, and with 90 seconds left in the first quarter, SAGU starts in OPSU territory.
Here is Barlow. He's going to hand it off to Keys. Still no Dudek on the field, still nursing that ankle injury. He's going to pick up a good chunk of yards there on first down. He picks up 6.
Another time where not a whole lot of advancement made the offensive line, but just enough for Keys to find it, and that time he's going to go nowhere.
SAGU goes no huddle, a quick snap, and they hand it off to Keys, and he is brought down for a big loss. They're going to call it a loss of 4 on the carry. So that brings up 3rd and long now, 3rd and 8 for the SAGU offense. They do have to make the snap here before the quarter ends with how quickly they were moving last play.
Matt Hernandez here, who threw keys for the loss. We've already called his name a time or two today. And again, another tackle for loss. So the defensive lines on both ends kind of having their way so far today.
3rd and 8, 30 seconds left in the first quarter. Barlow back to pass. There is a whistle.
There's a false start on SAGU, and that's because it got down to the final tick of the play clock. And that can make an offensive line skittish when that is happening. When you're down to the final second, you know you've got to get the play off, and so you make that little move before the snap is official. And you hate those 5-yard penalties because it makes a difficult 3rd and 8 into a much, much tougher 3rd and 13. Back nearly at midfield, in between the 49 and 50.
Here is Barlow, 3rd and long, 4 out wide, 2 on either side. Keys in the backfield. He is back to pass. He's got protection, rolls out to his left. Going deep across the middle. It's brought in by Johnson, but Johnson can't break the tackle. A good pickup there on 3rd down, but he will be short by about 6 yards.
And that'll be the final play of the first quarter. A big enough play here, though, is good job here by Barlow. Rolling out and sets his feet and fires in a dart to Johnson, who did his best to get outside of it, but now they're going to have a decision. If it was going to be 4th and 13 at midfield, you don't have much of a choice. But now that it's 4th and 5 at around the 40-yard line, 41-yard line, maybe you consider going for it here. And it does appear that SAGU's offense is the one huddling here in the quarter break.
I do not see any movement from Seth Green. He is on the sidelines right now.
He's still standing there waiting to see if he gets the call in. He's not going to go too far, obviously. As SAGU opened the game with a field goal drive, followed by a 3-and-out. Meanwhile, OPSU had a punt, and then with solid field position after SAGU's 3-and-out, went down the field and scored a big 4th down touchdown.
So it will be 4th and 5, and it looks like the SAGU offense will go for it. Now, last week, they got a couple of conversions last home game 2 weeks ago. They got a couple of conversions by drawing the Firestorm, the Arizona Christian Firestorm, off sides. We'll see if Barlow goes with a hard count here.
Definitely go for a hard count for a second or two. I don't know if you're going to call the timeout as you might. Yeah, he's definitely going for it. Almost got the Aggies to bite.
Empty backfield. Here's Barlow back to pass. He's going to take a deep shot to the left side for Long. Long brings it in. Are they going to call that a catch?
They're going to discuss it.
Either incomplete pass, either way to come away with it by Long. It was very, very close.
Another great pass here, and really could have had a. It's tough to tell from that angle.
That might be a catch.
We can't see the ball completely from that angle. It looked like he had possession for a moment, and then as you go up to the other side, like right here,
he gets possession right after this bobble here.
So he's going to have it.
No, it's still bobbling.
Right, he has it here.
Possession. That's a catch, Tim.
That's a catch right there. The question is there a bobble after the fact there? So at the moment he has possession, you'd almost have to play it through another second or two to see it. Honestly, SAGU had a case there for pass interference as well, but they're not going to get either of the calls, and it's a turnover on downs, giving the Aggies solid field position again.
And here are the Aggies. They hand it off, trying to cut it up, but brought down after a short gain on 1st down. It's going to be 2nd and 9. Tough play there for SAGU. They had a shot at it, and like you said, he may have bobbled it after the initial fact, but at that frame-by-frame look at it, he was inbounds with possession with 2 feet. But again, he may have bobbled it after the fact.
And another great pass from Jordan Barlow. He's thrown a couple of solid passes today that have not resulted in the outcome. We do have an Aggie down on the field. Appears to be number 68, Trey Todd. take a quick look at the current key players for OPSU. Casey Crandall already halfway to his average passing yards per game. We mentioned his stats don't jump off the screen at you.
He's got a couple of big completions,
Yeah.
though. That's 6 of 9. I would, for 83 yards, I would say probably about 75 that 83 has come off of 2 long completions.
Yeah, and some big moments as well.
Able to walk off on his own
Good
power.
to see Todd, off on his own feet, walking without help. Meanwhile, Jones, we mentioned, is the feast or famine back. So far, it's been tough sledding. 7 carries for just 8 yards.
Testament to this front line, this
Absolutely.
front 7 of this SAGU defense. They've done a good job so far today. And you can see them kind of stacking the box. They are daring Crandall to beat them with his arm, and he's already done it once today. But 2nd and 9 here, SAGU showing pressure. Looks like they may bring 5. A run blitz, and it works as they are able to stop him for a short gain. A big gain of about 3. It'll bring up 3rd and about 6.
Aggies going old school right now. I mean, the old phrase, establish the run, even though they haven't broken one for longer than 5 yards. Still feeding Jones early on, even in a situation that you might consider a passing down on 2nd and 8. Really hoping to kind of maybe break one big, or at least keep SAGU honest. Keep them to the point where they have to focus on the run and hope that opens up. You already had a big missed coverage that led to the touchdown. But it will bring to a 3rd and mid here for OPSU.
3rd and 6, Crandall, 3 stacked to his right. He's back to pass. Deep drop. He's looking deep. He's going to try to complete it across on the right side. Incomplete. Good coverage there by the linebacker on the outside, Dalton Spencer. That's going to make a 4th down. Again, okay, there is movement now. The hesitation of the punting unit to come out on the field there by OPSU, but this time they will come on out.
And so far, you've just got to, outside of a blown play by SAGU and some early marching by the SAGU offense, these defenses have been forcing the quarterbacks to settle for these underneath guys. They're covering everybody downfield and making them settle for, if that had been a catch, it wasn't going to be a 1st down.
Punt off the foot there of the punter, number 85, Seth Barbarino. Doubling as a punter is the receiver.
Punter, kicker, receiver. So, if you can save, I've always said, if you can get a guy who can double up and save a roster spot when it comes to, a kicking situation, that's always helpful. So SAGU will take over at the 30-yard line. Solid stand by SAGU's defense after the turnover on downs.
And giving up a touchdown the drive before. Very good stand there by the SAGU defense. Here's Barlow. He's going to keep it himself. Tries to throw a stiff arm, reaches it forward. That's a dangerous play to try to pick up 1 yard with the ball.
That's one of those times that you go into pure competitor mode of, I've got to get every single yard available to me. It's like, all right, let's maybe do that in 3rd down situations or goal line situations. Not 1st and 10 when it's difference between 2nd and 8 and 2nd and 7, but that's just the guy that Barlow is. He is fighting for literally every yard on every play.
Ultimate competitor is Jordan Barlow. Here he is now with 3 stacked to his left, keys in the backfield. 2nd and 8, Barlow back to pass. Throws it off his back foot, looking to go across the middle. It's incomplete. Looking for a flag is Zachary Johnson. He's not going to find one. Looked like it was a little bit of an awkward route tree there.
Yeah, nobody really ended up in a spot that was helpful to them. And you kind of had some guys that were bunching in together, which allowed the defenders to all stay in the center of the field. So yeah, not the flow you wanted in that situation. And throwing it up there, a little bit of bump and run contact, probably not enough to really justify a drive-changing penalty. But SAGU, again, it feels like it's always 3rd and 8. We have seen this 3rd and 8 these last 2 home games. Feels like a dozen times.
Here's Barlow back to pass on 3rd and long. He's got time. He's taking a shot down to nobody.
That might have been some miscommunication with him and Mike Mooten, because he's standing still there at around the 45-yard line. Barlow's going to look at him and then toss it that way, and I think Mooten thought he was coming back for the hitch route, and so it lands harmlessly a good 15 yards away from anybody on the field.
Back-to-back 3 and outs here for the Aggies and the Lions. Brings on Seth Green to punt. Aaron Corbett to snap.
And again, both defenses having a stellar day so far.
Good punt there by Green. Wow, taking advantage of the wind all the way back to the 20-yard line. Trying to make some men miss, but he cannot. SAGU's coverage is just as good as the kick as they are able to bring him down right at the 20-yard line. Seth Green, what a punt. There is a flag on the field.
I thought it was going to be for blocking the back, but it didn't come out that quick. It came out on the tackle.
Booming kick by Green, my goodness. We'll see what the call is here. Oh, it'll be a block in the back. There you saw it.
Unless they're going to flag Christopher Bakos for a helmet-to-helmet. Like I said, the flag comes out on the actual tackle. There was a block in the back type play, but then there was also a solid hit, and SAGU didn't seem happy about the flag at first. So we're playing body language experts up here to see. But it looks like they are going to march this back. So it probably will be the block in the back, the typical penalty that you see on most punt situations.
Still waiting for the official call here. Here it comes. Yep, illegal block in the back.
Yep. And that's what I thought it was initially. All it made me think was the flag came out a little bit late, and SAGU didn't seem happy about it. Maybe they didn't seem happy about it because they knew that there was a little helmet-to-helmet contact and thought to themselves, ooh, is that what they just saw? But SAGU gets the break this time, and it will be OPSU starting off inside their own 10-yard line.
That's 2 punts at this point that Seth Green has had a pretty decent punt for where they are, and then he gets helped out with 10 more yards of penalty yardage on the backside of it. So Seth Green doing a good job to pin OPSU originally inside their own 20-yard line, now back to their own 9.
And that was just and the spiral on that punt was better than some quarterbacks can throw. That was just perfect.
There's OPSU taking a shot deep. He's got a step on his corner, but he cannot bring it in. Taking a shot to Jay Sean Brown on that sideline, but good coverage on the outside by Kevion Davis. And we talked about him a lot in the Arizona Christian game. It looks like the coaches at SAGU are very comfortable with keeping him on an island and letting him cover a receiver and needing no help.
He ran against wide receiver number 1 all week against Arizona Christian. He's doing it right here. Yep, John Cole really didn't have that huge of a game.
They hand it off on second down, and he is going nowhere. That'll be actually a loss of, let's say, no gain on second, so it'll be 3rd and 10 here for Crandall and this Aggies offense.
And I believe, the Aggies have switched to a second back now, so it's not Jamel Rian-Jones after he's not getting a whole lot of yards. Switch to their second back here. And brings up a 3rd and 10.
Back to pass, deep drop. He shuffles to his left. He's got people breathing down his neck. Incomplete pass. That'll bring up 4th down. SAGU's defense gets another 3-and-out stop.
And they do it all over the place. They've got solid coverage down the field. They finally break the pocket, force Crandall to run, and he throws it to his only available guy. There was a chance there.
Fourth down and 10 here for the Aggies as they are on to punt. As Barbarino comes back in, Jalen Moss lining up at about the 50.
This is a big special teams play.
Oh, almost gets blocked. It's end over end. Moss is going to let it drop, and it does. It takes a SAGU bounce, and SAGU will be set up with very good field position here. With the wind at their backs, you got to think they would love to come away with points here as we've hit kind of a dry spell in the scoring aspect.
You got to. Starting off at the 34-yard line. I mean, credit to this is a Seth Green setup here. He's the one that pins them deep. And then with the wind in their face after another strong defensive stand, forcing the second consecutive 3-and-out, Jordan Barlow is going to lead his team onto the field just 34 yards away from pay dirt. This is almost in field goal range to start off, so you've got to come away with some points on this drive.
Here is Barlow. First down, he hands it off to Keys. Keys had a hole, but it is closed quickly. He's only going to gain, we'll call it 1, maybe 1.5 yards there on first down.
Another situation where you're not even seeing the offensive line make mistakes. It's not like you're seeing blown assignments. It's just the defensive line winning the battles, winning man-to-man up front. So even when there was a brief hole, the defensive line responded quickly enough that Keys didn't have the hold he needed to make any sort of real progress out of that, and brings up a 2nd and 9.
Here is Barlow, 2 out wide to his right, 1 to his left. Keys in the backfield, kind of pistol formation, hands it off to Keys. Keys bounces it outside, cuts it back up, lowers the shoulder, runs over the tackler, and there he picks up a good gain. He's going to break it to 3rd and 2 here for this offense.
Really, both SAGU backs, both Keys and Dudek, you got to get them some space because they are so quick. They hold their feet so well. It's all about getting that any sort of seam, even if the seam, as we saw there, is left to right, where he's running, vertical on the field. Just give him some way to get momentum, and he picks it up there to bring up a 3rd and short.
Barlow hands it off to Keys again. Why not? He bounces it to the outside, lowers the shoulder. He reaches for the first down. I think they're going to rule him down by contact, and it looks like he may have just enough for the first down, but a good job there by Keys. A dangerous play there, stretching the ball out.
Very dangerous, and this is going to be very close.
Needed to get to the 29, and the ball was stretched out. It's hard to tell.
The ball was definitely stretched, but it's hard to tell if his left elbow might have gone down first, but they are going to give it to him. They're going to give Keys exactly 2 yards, and so 3 straight handoffs to Keys will pick up a first down to the 24-yard line.
New set of downs here for Barlow. Facing immediate pressure, dumps it out to Keys, and Keys has got a lot of room to run. He's going to have the first down, and he gets brought down a yard longer than what he needed. They're going to move the chains. That's a good job by Barlow, facing heavy pressure just to dump it out to Keys and let him run with it.
Yeah, he's really filling in right now. We talked about Dudek being the safety blanket. He's out right now, and Keys is looking like Dudek, getting 3 straight handoffs and then running out to his left. Does a good job of creating a lot of quick separation to the outside to where when the ball does get in his hands, he has the first down already. We got an official timeout as we're going to switch the ball in. Might have gotten it scuffed up a little bit too much. Back in the day. Oh, no, and now we're going to bring in another ball. Okay, no.
A little confusion here by the officials, but it looks like we're good to go now. New set of downs, 1st and 10, 9 minutes left to go in the second quarter. SAGU driving, the ball inside the OPSU 15-yard line. Fakes the handoff, and float it across the middle to Blaine Rowe. Does he have it? He does! Touchdown, Lions! Blaine Rowe bringing in the pass. We've seen Barlow go his way a couple of times today, unsuccessfully. This time, it works, and SAGU takes a, for the time being, 9-6 lead.
Beautiful, beautiful play design. You go Keys, 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 Keys. Then you have that play action, and you're just tossing that safety route to your tight end who's boxing his way out. We know Barlow has the touch, and he drops it in for the touchdown. A touchdown SAGU absolutely needed.
Woodley on for the extra point. It's up, and it is good. 10-6 now. The Lions lead, and don't forget, OPSU missing or not converting that point after attempt on their touchdown makes it a 4-point game.
Yeah,
SAGU finally gets field position, and they capitalize.
That is one of those that when the coaches are in front of the whiteboard, when they tell you how this play is supposed to work, that's how he's envisioning it working. Play action, freeze the defense just enough. There's only one guy. Barlow is only looking at Rowe the whole way. That was his only guy, and you could tell because he was blanketed. But he knew that I know where I need to put this ball. I trust Blaine Rowe's hands. I trust that he is boxing his guy out well enough. That's a tight end's job. So, see, these are the plays I could watch all day. I know people want to watch Odell Beckham one-handed catches. Those are flashy. But as an X's and O's guys, you just want to watch this fundamental Tim Duncan football.
You want to talk about fundamental. Let's talk about that drive being set up initially by the very good punt by Seth Green. Executing in all 3 phases right now, special teams, offense, and defense.
All 3 combined there. You get a great punt to pin them deep. Your defense comes out and forces 3 and out. Then your offense does exactly what they need to do, marches down the field. It's 34 yards in 6 plays, and now you get a touchback right here. Yeah, beautiful little triple sequence there, as you said, from all 3 phases.
Don't want to sound too Belichickian, but all three phases of the game right now for SAGU clicking as they've gotten 2 straight 3-and-outs, and the offense has finally gotten to a little bit of a rhythm here, now having the lead at 10-6.
Well, to be Belichickian, we're on to this drive now.
We're on to next week. We're on to next drive.
That drive's over. This drive's all that matters now.
There you see the effectiveness of the wind as the ball just kind of exploded off of Kieran Woodley's foot through the back of the end zone. So it will be a touchback, and OPSU will set up shop here at the 35-yard line.
Yeah, it must have been a penalty to bring it up to 35-yard line.
Penalty.
I didn't see a flag or an official call, but now they're standing at the 30.
Yeah, now we're at the 30 now. I'm not sure.
So, but it should be the 25, so there still
should.
must have been a penalty on SAGU, maybe in the area of an offsides then. Might have jumped off a little early to give OPSU those 5 free yards out to the 30-yard line.
Here is Crandall. 3 out wide, to his left, 1 to his right. A offsides penalty here is going to be called against SAGU, a neutral zone infraction. I'm not sure. There was a hard count, but I didn't see who jumped offsides. Let's see if we can hear. Oh, they just went ahead and moved.
I think it was Kevion Davis on the outside. I think he jumped across, and the receiver, in a very smart move, Jayshon Brown, I think reached out and touched him as he crossed the line. So just a smart play to pick up 5 free yards for the Aggies.
1st and 5. Here's the pitch. We haven't seen that yet today. The kind of toss play is going to pick up 1. It's going to make it 2nd and 4.
Yep, still trying to get Jones going today, and they try to go the outside after the middle has not worked. Only picks up really not even a full yard. We'll call it 1 yard, but it'll be 2nd and 4. And just trying to find any way to get this rushing attack working as they have stalled out the last 2 drives with 2 3-and-outs.
4 wide here for Crandall, and a flag comes out here. This one's going to go against OPSU, so that gives back the yardage they received on the offsides penalty. It's going to move them back 5 and make it 2nd and 9.
These sometimes pre-snap penalties can feel more devastating than a 15-yard penalty. It changes where you are. Again, 2nd and 4, you're liking where you are. 2 more runs to the middle, you got a first down. Now 2nd and 9, a whole different playbook has to be put on the field. And I think it's because those pre-snap penalties, they're just procedural. It's not in the act of football. It's not making a hard hit, trying to open up a hole.
Back to pass, steps up in the pocket, looking to still get rid of it, looking to the sideline, off the hands of his intended receiver that time, Charjay Hunt. He had a step on his defender, and it just went in and out of his hands, and that would have been good for a first down and then some.
And it's Jalen Moss there with the coverage, though. I think Moss is still going to very much impact this play as we'll catch the end of the replay here. Moss trailing with him the whole way. And he does get the hand in there as Hunt was trying to bring it down into his hands. Moss's hand did come in and may have dislodged that ball. So Jalen Moss, he's going to be on the play.
3rd and 9. Back to pass. He gets tripped up. He's brought down for a sack. And it looks like I want to credit Drake Rodriguez with the sack.
I want to credit Drake Rodriguez, too. I literally think Crandall tripped over Rodriguez.
We get a good look at it here. Rodriguez, instant pressure, just a bull rush. And they did. They kind of collided knees or legs or something, and that should go to Drake Rodriguez. And if it does,
or at least half a sack. He said he only needed half a sack, and so I think I think that was half a sack at least for Drake Rodriguez.
That is going to be at least the double-digit sack mark that Drake Rodriguez needed for his career. And if it indeed does go down as that, congratulations to Drake Rodriguez, again accomplishing something that very few have done here at SAGU. Breaking into that double-digit sack column as a career stat. So congratulations, Mr. Rodriguez. Exclusive club.
Meanwhile, what another great stand by the SAGU defense.
It's 3 straight.
After the first down penalty, you're looking at 1st and 5. To still force a 3-and-out when facing a 1st and 5, that means you are clicking on defense. And with the wind in their face, gives their offense solid field position yet again at the 47-yard line. As you mentioned, 3 straight 3-and-outs for this SAGU defense, who is putting on an minus one play. Really minus one play in the entire first half. It's just putting on an absolute show.
One busted coverage, and that busted coverage went for a touchdown. Here's the pitch to the running back. This is not Keys this time. It is Quadarius Krigler, and he's going to go down for a big loss.
Yeah, he's that. You love some fight, but he just turned what was going to be a 4-yard loss into around a 9-yard loss by shedding free of that tackle.
And fumbling.
And then fumbling. So because of the fumble, he doesn't even get the forward progress that he had or the halting of momentum. So that's actually going to be a 14-yard loss on first down.
2nd and 24 now for Barlow in the SAGU offense. They're going to go empty set here. Empty set, 3 to the left, 2 to the right here for Barlow. He's back to pass. He just sidearms that one out to Keys. He brings it in and picks up 3 of that 24. And it's going to be 3rd and very long here for Barlow in his Lions offense.
Yeah, pressure yet again coming right into his face, forcing that ball out early. Keys has been the guy he's been dumping it off to. And 3rd in, we'll call it 3/4 of a mile here.
3rd and 21 here for SAGU. They go empty set again. They've been facing immediate pressure. We talked about pregame how good this OPSU team is at getting to the quarterback, and we're seeing that unfold here today. They're only bringing 3 this time, so Barlow should have a little bit of time to throw. He rolls out to his left, looking for somebody. He's just going to take off and run with it, and not nearly enough for the first down. So that will be 4th and very long, and I expect SAGU to come out and punt, and it looks like they will as Seth Green trots onto the field.
Just great coverage all across the field. There was nowhere for Barlow to go, and that's where when you have a 10-6 lead and your defense is doing a good job, you trust your punter here. Don't try to force something here. Don't heave it downfield when you're not comfortable. Make the smart decision, live to fight another day. So 4th and 19, and Seth Green will come out. Wind at his back still.
Low snap, but he brings it in. The punt is high, a good spiral on it, good hang time. It's going to go out of bounds. It may just be shy of that 25-yard line. There is a scrum at almost midfield there. It's a little tangled up. His tempers are flailing here. They are going to mark it out right at the 25-yard line. No flags.
I think somebody just realized, hey, we don't get to play football for 4 more months after this.
But it's only 4 more months.
Exactly.
You're used to it being 8. But now it's only 4 months. I don't know. A little chippy here last game of the season. We did kind of expect that a little bit.
You see there, the stats have frozen for OPSU over the last 2 drives. Crandall still at 83 yards passing. He's been there for a while now, while Jamarian Jones, he's bumped that average from 1.1 yards per carry to 1.3. So not exactly not the improvement they were looking for necessarily.
The SAGU defense has yet to concede a first down here in the second quarter. With 5 minutes left to go and a false start, this will help the Lions. It's going to set the Aggies back 5 yards. It'll be 1st and 15.
Offense, number 67, 5-yard penalty. First down.
Joel Barbosa called for the false start.
And when you're struggling this much for yards, is it on the last drive when you had the 2nd and 4 and you get the 5-yard penalty, when it's this tough to get yards, just these little dink and dunk 5-yard penalties hurt you so badly.
They swing it out quick. He makes a man miss. He's got a lot of room to run, and he's got the speed to make it work. He gets it past midfield, almost brought down from behind with a fumble, but a good tackle that time by Demarius Heron. He finds his man in the flat.
And Heron's going to be the first one to miss, so Heron has to respond after the miss. That was a great pickup from Crandall to see that the SAGU defense was completely flooded to the left side, to where as soon as he got it to his receiver, all he had to do was make Heron miss that first time, and he was free down to the SAGU 37-yard line. So after a quarter full of nothing, one big play.
Mikkel Mason with the long catch and run. Play action, they swing it out wide again. This time it's going nowhere. Jalen Moss bringing down Charjay Hunt with a huge hit. And we have 2 players down, 1 Lion and 1 Aggie laying down next to each other here at midfield.
And just look at Moss's awareness. He is dialing in. He knows that's where the ball is going. He launches out of his position, before the ball has even left Crandall's hands, is just firing in, says, I know that the guys behind me got me. I am rushing in, and I am hitting him right as the ball gets there, too.
Noah Gibson and Joel Barbosa both down on that play. I'm not sure if there was a collision, but they were both down in the same spot. Tough to see. There you see Gibson, one of the solidified starters on this offensive line, has just been so good all season, coming in as a sophomore from Irving. But it'll be second and we'll call it 14 now for the Aggies offense.
4-yard loss from Jalen Moss, and he's made a couple of solid hits like that at the line of scrimmage, behind the line of scrimmage, and it's because of his awareness to know exactly what he can do and the timing of getting right there as it counts.
They're going to hand it off here on second and 14. There is a hole. He busted up the middle, trying to make a man miss. He's going to have enough for the first down. That's a huge run on second. Needed 14 and picked up 15 on the second down carry.
Yeah, finally gets his hole and shows why he can be a feast or famine back. Weaves through a couple of different spots, breaks a tackle, picks up 15 yards for his longest run of the day by far.
First and 10 here for the Aggies, so going about 10 minutes into the second quarter without a first down. They picked up two quick ones here. Pass almost completed across the middle, but it is dropped that time off the hands of his intended receiver.
Pass is incomplete, now second down.
And that's just well delivered, but look who's there again. Jalen Moss. Just having that pressure from behind is just enough to possibly make the receiver think twice, and as he's trying to get into his hip pocket, it pops loose.
Mikkel Mason, the intended receiver, making it second and 10. Sends a man in motion. There's a lot of motion. Scrambling for his life. A SAGU strip sack for Rodriguez. The ball is out. His helmet comes off. Trying to see who's got possession of it. Coach Smith seems to think the Lions have it.
But did they recover it before they landed out of bounds?
It's hard to tell right now, the group of people. There you see Rodriguez, relentless in his pursuit.
He definitely has his sack mark now. I think SAGU...
Oh, he got to be careful there with taking a helmet off.
I think SAGU recovers it, but not before they had gone out of bounds. Oh, and actually, no, it is. It's Casey. So the SAGU never did recover. He was trying so hard to not go out of bounds. He never fully got on it, and it's Casey Crandall who ends up coming in after getting strip sacked, rushing back a good 8 yards to pick up that loose ball. But what a huge play from Drake Rodriguez. Definitely, he said, hitting that double-digit mark now.
Yep.
And a 3rd and 19 and out of field goal range for the Aggies.
They're just going to hand it off, now taking it around the outside. Another big run there. It's going to make it 4th and pretty manageable here. We'll see what they decide to do here on 4th down, but a big run there by Jones.
Yeah, after a whole quarter and a half of tough sledding, he breaks off 2 big ones. Gain of 12 there, and at the moment, SAGU's going to call timeout as the Aggies were keeping their offense on the field.
That's a good timeout for Coach Smith. 4th down, you want to see what they're going to do. Need to get the right package out there for your defense. That's a good timeout. You're not sure if they're going to go for it to kick the field goal on 4th here and 7.
Resettle the team, and I believe the Aggies have only attempted a handful of field goals all year long. They are not a field goal kicking team. And so if you're looking at a 4th and 7, especially with this stout wind, it would be a 37, 38-yard field goal attempt. Actually, closer to a 39-yard field goal attempt.
Yeah, from the 23,
here.
We're looking about 40.
Yeah, 39, 40 yards with this wind. I definitely understand why you would go for it here, especially if you're not 100% confident in your kicking situation, as it doesn't really appear they are looking at their total season stats.
So Casey Crandall here on 4th and 7. SAGU's defense looking for another big stop here. They've been very good here in this second quarter. Crandall, he's back to pass. He's got time. He's floating it across the middle. It's intercepted by Jalen Moss. A one-handed interception. And you got to think he wanted to knock it down because now the offense is going to be on the 2-yard line. There's some confusion here. There's a flag on the play. We'll see if this even stands.
What a great pick by Jalen Moss that he probably shouldn't have made.
Holding on the offense, so the play will stand.
First down.
Penalties decline, so SAGU will take over on the 3-yard line because on 4th down, the ball batted down, you get the ball at the 23.
Yeah, you hate to bust a guy on the last game of the year. We talked about how Jalen Moss, he's always in every play, but he's not basically jumping off the stat sheet, it's your instincts. It's your instincts.
Incredible interception.
Amazing interception.
Diving one-handed interception, take nothing away from that. An incredible play by Jalen.
You know what? At the end of the season, you just crop in the screen a little bit so you don't see the down to this situation and say, what an amazing play.
And it was. Incredible play by Jalen Moss.
And you got to do what you got to do. You know, the biggest point there is don't give up the touchdown.
And he did. Did not.
And his initial swipe there is what kept the ball from getting to the receiver. But it will put SAGU with their backs against the end zone, 2:17 remaining, as they at least want to try to get a couple of first downs here and make sure that OPSU can't get good field position off of this.
They will hand it off. Here's Keys, bounces it up inside and picks up 4 yards there on first down, making it 2nd and 7.
SAGU will be in no hurry, and because OPSU isn't guaranteed to stop them, they won't be stopping the clock yet either. So SAGU will let that clock run a little bit so that they aren't risking handing OPSU plenty of time and solid field position.
4 wide here for Barlow, 2nd and 7. He's going to hand it off to Keys. Keys bounces back, spins off a defender. He's going to get brought down after a gain of 3. Let's call it 3rd and 3 here for the Lions.
And Zarius Keys really has just stepped up as a workhorse. He's been the second back all year long, but with Dudek going down, he has really stepped up, bearing the complete load of this offense at the moment, and has them in another very manageable 3rd down as Blaine Rose is going to check in for SAGU. Maybe kind of showing a heavy package. But now we have a timeout. Not sure who was charged to. And it will be to the OPSU. So OPSU decides to finally make their decision. They will call the timeout. At this point, probably not a bad decision because SAGU doesn't have a ton of time now as well. So if they do pick up the first down, you're still thinking, okay, they only got around a minute and they have 80-something yards to go. Whereas if you make your stop here now, first of all, you regroup your defense, call your defensive play, tell them what to look for. If you make the stop here, you call your last timeout, and now you're getting the ball back, hopefully midfield-ish with a minute to play.
Look what happened for Coach Smith. Called a timeout on 4th down. Jalen Moss comes away with an interception.
Yep.
So it worked out for them. So we'll see if it works out here for the Aggies. And we received Melvin. It's an incredible play by Jay Moss. But we agree. It was a very good play. That's why he's one of the players to watch. I want to say every game. We try to be fair to everybody, but he's a player to watch every game. It's just so exciting on the field. And we agree. Incredible play. So here's a big 3rd down here for the SAGU offense. He sends Blaine Rowe in motion and hands it off to Keys. Keys hesitates behind the line, tries to spin off a tackler. Does he have enough for the first down? He's right at the sticks. They're going to stop the clock to maybe measure this. It looks like he should have enough for the first down.
I think he's going to get it. And this is Keys
they do get it.
Going against the grain. Where Blaine Rowe goes is where that play was supposed to go to. I'm pretty convinced. He sees the small seam he has, though, and all he needs is those 3 yards. He goes against the grain and scraps his way for every last inch he needed.
Timeout there by OPSU after the first down by SAGU.
Not sure why you'd call your last time out if you're the Aggies there. As SAGU has complete control of the half now. They could kneel down and end it if they want to. But with a little bit of room to their back now, I think this is where you might open it up a little bit, at least run some patterns long. You know you've got Keys as your safety back coming out of the backfield. So now it's SAGU who has the field to work with. Minute 15 on the clock, and as we know, it only takes one play.
No, and they got a home run hitter in Jamal Long. Number 18 has been targeted only a couple of times today. He's got one big catch on that first drive and then a bobbled catch that goes out of bounds in the second quarter. He is a home run hitter. So we'll see what they decide to do here on first down with a minute 14 left. Barlow sends a man in motion. Handoff, and it is a fumble. Who's got it? I think OPSU has it. And they do. That is a disaster for SAGU as they fumble away the opportunity to go into the half with a 10-6 lead, and the defense will have to come back out onto the field.
And that's one of those, I mean, whose fault is it in a quarterback running back exchange? You never know. You never know. But that bounces right off of Keys' chest, and a game-changing moment in the final minute here
OPSU
of the first half.
And OPSU gets the ball to start the second half, too. So a score here, and then a potentially come back out of halftime to score again. This could be devastating for the Lions. We'll see what the defense can do here. 1:08 left. They're going to hand it off to the running back, stopped by Keandre Belcher and a host of Lions. Wow, Noah Gibson in on the stop, too, but Keandre Belcher with the initial contact there.
And I'm not sure I've ever seen anyone break out of Keandre Belcher's grasp. Once he's got you, I mean, you can try to stay up for pride's sake, but you're not gaining any more yards. So
clock is moving, 2nd and 10.
Yeah, OPSU doesn't have any timeouts left now.
Crandall, he's back to pass, looking across the middle, has a man, and they score a touchdown off the turnover to Mikkel Mason from Crandall, and they will go into halftime with a lead, barring an extra point here, 12-10. And he just put it on the money, and his man was wide open across the middle.
Yeah, just a great route off of the snap, staying one step ahead, and Crandall zips it in for his second touchdown pass of the game. And, yeah, what an absolute disaster for SAGU, where, as we said, they had complete control. They could have just knelt down and into the half. Obviously, you're not going to with 1:15 left. And OPSU will go for 2 here.
Yes, they will. They come out with Dominguez in the backfield. They're going heavy set. He trips and loses his footing. And so they're going to go into halftime with a 2-point lead, 12-10. And you talk about a team only trying a handful of field goals. I mean, they're not even willing to try extra points at this point in the game.
Yeah, obviously trying to get the points back that they lost. There's either the play action there, and Crandall just zips that in. Jalen Moss he's there, but just one tiny step behind, perfectly placed. And the 2-point conversion does not go OPSU's way, but they've just got to be thrilled with where they are right now. After the interception on 4th down when they were threatening to score, after a turnoverless half, you have an interception there, which, as we said, would have been better off as a batted pass. You can't blame a guy. He's in the moment. He's making the play. He's doing what he has trained to do, go pick the ball off. But because of that, SAGU has their backs against the end zone. Even after a first down, they're still not working with a whole lot of field position. And the fumble is killer. So 36 seconds remaining. I can't imagine SAGU trying anything too risky here. Although the kickoff, there will be a stiff wind into the kickoff here. So a chance, we already saw it today one time with a solid return off of a kickoff. That could determine what SAGU tries here, where they get the ball.
36 seconds left to go in the half. SAGU down 12-10, and it is a squib kick on the ground, is brought in again by the up man, trying to make a man miss, trying to make a play here. Can't blame him, but nothing working there. Colby Tanner, who we saw earlier this game, get a hole and take it a long ways. This time, nothing doing there for Tanner.
Not terrible field position here, though. You have 37-yard line, 30 seconds left, 2 timeouts remaining, if my memory serves me. Maybe you do look for a safety route or 2 here. The wind is at your back. You like your kicker. Maybe you try to go back. As you said, OPSU gets the ball first to start the second half. So if you could come away with any points here, take the lead back on a field goal, that would at least mean that OPSU can't take a 2-possession lead at the start of the half. So SAGU will come out with 5 wide.
Trying to go quick hitter across the middle, and there was no one there. And fortunately for the Lions, that wasn't picked and then returned for a touchdown because everyone was standing still.
And that was another miscommunication between the quarterback and Mike Mooten. We saw that already once. That was thrown to where Mooten was supposed to be, and he was still standing completely still at the line of scrimmage. But SAGU will stay out here with 5 wide. I almost said 6 wide. It looked like 6 wide for a second.
5 wide. Barlow's back to pass. He pumps. Rolling to his right. He's got a little bit of time. He's just going to hit his receiver in the back. That time, Mooten. He finds Mooten, but hits him right in the back. So it's going to be 3rd and 10, 18 seconds left.
And just nobody open. Barlow might have had somebody open all the way to the left side of the field, but obviously you don't. I think he looks right there, and probably his brain tempted him. He did have a receiver right around the 50-yard line, but heaving a pass across your body in this situation.
Not ideal.
No.
Yep. 3rd and 10, 18 seconds left. Yeah, 1 man in the backfield, 3 out wide to his right, 1 to his left. They're just going to hand it off safely here, and he has hit hard and upended. And that, now it will be the last timeout. They had 1 left, did the Aggies. So they had 1 timeout left here for 4th down. So they will get a shot at a return here.
So the timeout on the previous SAGU tribe that was pointed to OPSU must have actually, I thought that would make more sense as SAGU's timeout to call in that scenario. We were curious as to why OPSU would have called that timeout. So SAGU will have to punt it away, and OPSU, now you have a chance to either bring the house or try something fun on the punt return. As SAGU, tries a little bit here with their field position, but it's going to be another 3 and out here in the waning seconds of the half.
A couple of frustrating drives there to end the half for the Lions. 2 3 and outs and a fumble. You never want to see that after the touchdown. You never want to see it, especially when your defense has been playing so well here in the first half. Bobbled the punt, but it is a high kick from Green, and that is about as good of a situation as you can find yourself in. Seth Green did a good job to field the short hop on the snap.
And he runs the half out. He got enough of a roll. As a bad snap, Seth Green corrals it, and he gets a nice head tap from the coach as he comes to the sideline. He's getting thanked by a couple of different players as he's launched a couple of great punts here in the half. And that one, he averts disaster on a bad snap and then just crushes one that runs the half out on the roll. But a very defensively dominated half that SAGU had a lead until the final moments when their first real major mistake on offense hurts them hugely, and they'll go into the half down 12-10.
We will see what adjustments are made, but for the time being, the Oklahoma Panhandle State University Aggies with a 12-0 lead over the hometown SAGU Lions. Don't go anywhere. Second half coming your way right here on the SAGU Sports Network.
Is your church looking to build a new facility, purchase property, renovate your current building, or set up a capital campaign? The North Texas District Loan Fund can help. The NTD Church Loan Fund has helped over 200 Assembly of God churches in the state of Texas expand their ministries through loans and investments. We know this can be a challenging task, and we want to make it easier for you. Looking for investment options? Invest with a purpose. Investing with the NTD Church Loan Fund combines competitive rates and flexible terms with kingdom impact. Let's build the kingdom of God together. Visit churchloanfund.ag today.
Honey, have you applied to that school yet?
Not really into purple.
SAGU. Never say no to a lion.
At Southwestern, we endeavor to offer more than the average college curriculum, producing men and women whose lives are pleasing to God, and that's worth everything.
Is your church looking to build a new facility, purchase property, renovate your current building, or set up a capital campaign? The North Texas District Church Loan Fund can help. The NTD Church Loan Fund has helped over 200 Assembly of God churches in the state of Texas expand their ministries through loans and investments. We know this can be a challenging task, and we want to make it easier for you. Looking for investment options? Invest with a purpose. Investing with the NTD Church Loan Fund combines competitive rates and flexible terms with kingdom impact. Let's build the kingdom of God together. Visit churchloanfund.ag today.
Where online makes really good sense is when you're kind of not the typical, I just graduated from high school and I want to have a college experience.
I chose distance education because I was busy. I mean, I knew that our lives were kind of all over the place, everything that we were doing, and I wanted something that was flexible.
My degree at SAGU allowed me to still be a mom and an educator and get my degree online. I was able to tuck my kids into bed and get everything that I needed to get done, and while laundry was going, I was studying.
If you have any questions, certainly give me a call, shoot me an email, and I'll be glad to help any way I can.
We have an asynchronous program, so videos are going, students are accessing the course on their own schedule, which is a convenience of online education. So the online provides the way to get the academic credit that you need to advance your career path, advance your learning and your skills.
Well, a lot of what we were doing with our resident assistants was preparing them to teach their halls. And then, of course, I'd have the opportunity to teach as well. So I was training, but then I was also teaching the whole dorm. And so I found that a lot of the tools that I was getting from my classes was really helping me to prepare my RAs and to prepare myself to minister to our students.
My master's degree in education at SAGU allowed me to have a bigger influence on more than just students, but also educators. With the door that this degree opened, I was able to take this position that really didn't exist before I graduated, and I was able to move into that.
In SAGU's philosophy, we want to connect students with a faculty member that is curating the content, and they are providing the content we feel is important for that particular course the way that it is presented in SAGU's distinctive.
I loved the way that they would give you quality feedback. It's not just a grade, but I want to know what you think about my work.
My professor was fabulous, just was always there for me that entire semester, and I was able to graduate exactly when I expected to.
The fact is, there is no back row in an online classroom. You can't get in the back of the class. You're either online and engaged or you're not doing the work.
The number one thing is their passion for students. The customer service here, they're going to help you get across that finish line and do everything they can do to help you get there. This is a place where if you've already in your career, you know what you want to do, and you just need that extra skill set, you need that help to prepare you to be more successful. This is a very practical place to get your degree.
The NAIA level is highly competitive. I know that a lot of NCAA schools will have opening round games with a lot of NAIA schools, and those are very close games a lot of times, and it's a highly competitive level, and it's been a great situation for me, and I think it's a great situation for a lot of my teammates and a lot of my peers.
Is your church looking to build a new facility, purchase property, renovate your current building, or set up a capital campaign? The North Texas District Church Loan Fund can help. The NTD Church Loan Fund has helped over 200 Assembly of God churches in the state of Texas expand their ministries through loans and investments. We know this can be a challenging task, and we want to make it easier for you. Looking for investment options? Invest with a purpose. Investing with the NTD Church Loan Fund combines competitive rates and flexible terms with kingdom impact. Let's build the kingdom of God together. Visit churchloanfund.ag today.
What we're looking for is students in the church leadership program and any of our vocational ministry programs is somebody who has a passion for Christ, a passion for people, somebody who has an element of seriousness, but they'll be transparent and be people of integrity.
I'm looking for students that are going to invest their lives in the life of a student that says, I know how tough adolescence can be.
This degree is tailor-made for that unique life, trying to help individuals really learn all that goes into the unique realities of church leadership.
What we've done is make this degree a great combination. They're able to pick and choose various ministry classes and really get a wide range, a well-rounded view of church life. It's like build your own degree if you feel the desire or the calling.
We're equipping students that if in 10 years they say, well, God's moving me out of youth ministry, out of children's ministry, well, they can become some other type of associate. They can go into pastoral ministry.
We're increasing the internship component that goes alongside this degree. And so, this gives a good potential. A student can be plugged into a single church for 3 semesters. They could be plugged into 3 different churches.
If it's children and family classes, then, for example, there's one called Creative Methods, ballooning, juggling, clowning, all of those kinds of things that we're going to cover. We also have a course called Issues in Childhood and Family Life. How do we do care for people who've gone through abuse and neglect and divorce and all the tough things that come in life, especially in the lives of kids?
I discovered that along with other things that I had been doing.
And in pastoral leadership, they're going to get courses such as ministerial ethics. They're going to get courses like pastoral leadership itself, but then they'll also pick up things like hermeneutics and systematic theology to go along with preaching courses and pastoral counseling courses.
They're going to be learning, some of the practices of ministry, certainly, how to communicate, how to lead a service, how to, develop ministry, but they're also going to learn a lot about dealing with people, things like how to help a church turn around one that's been struggling, or how to plant a new ministry.
Whenever I talk to freshmen, I say, don't think that you're purchasing a 4-year degree. Said you're investing in a lifelong relationship. Ministry can be a very lonely place, and our role is that they know they always have a friend at Southwestern.
Ministry is not necessarily the easiest thing they'll get into, but it's something that they commit themselves to, not because of it's a profession, but because it's a passion in their heart.
Jesus gave us a lot of indications of that, showing us that in His kingdom, leadership will operate differently than it does in the world around us. The sense of servant leadership, working with individuals who maybe at times are in deep distress, trauma, great need. So degrees in church leadership are there to help address that.
to college?
Yep.
SAGU, right?
Nope. Decided to go to Hogwarts.
SAGU. Never say no to a lion.
This is a faith venture. We may yet face challenges, but I want you to know something. Ours is a worthy mission. It's a kingdom mission, and the Pentecostal church needs SAGU. Our Native American churches need SAGU AIC. Let's persevere to victory. May each of us maintain the reputation of one who knows their stuff. They expect us to be the best. May this institution always have that reputation. This institution deserves the best for me and you, because this is God's ministry and He deserves the best. The students that God has entrusted to me and you deserve our best, because we have accepted the responsibility of mentor and discipler. Our churches and parents of students deserve our best, because they've entrusted their children to us as stewards, many at great personal financial sacrifice. If we strive for and achieve excellence, then we will be rewarded with a harvest of students in the days to come. May we never forget that any combination of the most effective leadership traits that does not include spiritual character are temporal and will provide no enduring legacy. That is the one thing that is going to distinguish us and give us the ability to make a difference in the days to come. We desperately need God's presence. They need to see us model a spirit-filled life. Oh God, give us revival, and let it begin with me. Let it begin with you. We each need to pray that prayer. May God grant us the skill to develop a visionary plan that will bear much fruit for the kingdom of God. May we never lose the capacity to envision and believe for a big dream. As population increases, God will most certainly call more men and women to take the gospel around the world. Therefore, Spirit-filled Pentecostal institutions are needed now more than ever. School districts, businesses, governmental roles, and all kinds of professions need even more godly men and women to fill positions with excellence as salt and light. And there's no better place to train marketplace ministers than right here. We need to get as many kids in these doors as we possibly can. It's God's will for us to rise up in faith. May your heart for God and personal faith increase. May your influence and favor with students rise to a level you've never experienced. May your families experience health and peace, and may your needs be met. May God miraculously provide for our campus. May God grant us creativity and wisdom and discernment and understanding and favor. Together, if we will work and give God the chance, we're going to see awesome things happen on this campus. Our best days are ahead of us.
Welcome back to the SAGU Sports Network. We have half number 2 coming your way if you're just joining us. The Oklahoma Panhandle State University Aggies have come to town here in Waxahachie, Texas, and went into halftime with a 12-10 lead as they are able to score late in the first half. Tim, walk us through some of the numbers here as to why the Aggies have been able to keep this lead coming into the third quarter.
Well, I think really the focus is SAGU just sitting there with 116 total yards. Jordan Barlow at 74 yards passing. It's been the defense. OPSU's defense has put on a great display here in the first half so far, holding SAGU's offense in check. Really just one long drive. The first drive of the game is what got SAGU their field goal. Other than that, their other touchdown drive came off of a very shortened field after a short punt deep in their own territory. Meanwhile, OPSU's offense has done just enough. This game has come down to 2 bad plays by SAGU. You had a busted coverage that led to a 4th and 12, 32-yard touchdown pass, and then you have the botched handoff at the end of the second half. That's where all of OPSU's 12 points have come from. So if you're SAGU, you say, okay, it's just these 2 mistakes. But also because of how good that defense has been for the Aggies, that puts you in a tough spot. There's no guarantee of points right now, even with as comfortable as you are with your offense. And, of course, the fact that you appear to be without Keaton Dudek for the rest of the game at this point. He did not come back after an early first-half injury. And so it's a tough spot for SAGU right now because you're only down 2, but you're having to kick the ball away here to start the second half, and you know you're going up against a defense that held you in check for the vast majority of this game so far.
Kieran Woodley on to kick off here to start half number 2. Wind in his face. So we'll see what he does, and it looks like it will affect the kick as it will be fielded just shy of the 20-yard line. Trying to go to the outside, makes a man miss, but brought down, or fighting his way rather, was almost brought down at the 30, kept his feet and kept driving, was Jashawn Brown, and he's going to give the Aggies solid field position here to start their first drive of the second half.
Brings out Casey Crandall, who gets very solid first half, especially considering they had a gap of 3 consecutive 3-and-outs. Casey Crandall throws 2 touchdown passes, is close now to his season average just in the first half. So we mentioned that momentum in the pregame. Possibly that big play last week, getting the win in the final seconds, is kind of inspiring him to make some big plays here in the final game of the season.
Mikael Mason has been his favorite target on the day. They have definitely tried to establish the run as they do here on first down to no avail. It's just going to be a gain of about 2, and that was a hard-fought 2 yards.
By the end of the first half, Jamarian Jones was finally getting some traction, picked up around 27 yards on 2 carries. Now, that was the drive that ended in the interception on 4th down, but if you're OPSU, if you can get that traction, if you can get Jones cooking on the ground, with the fact that you've had some very solid plays, individual plays over the air, you'll love where you are.
Little touch pass here, trying to get around the outside, cuts it back up inside, has got enough for a first down, keeps his feet pushed out of bounds for a first down and then some just past midfield. They're going to mark him out of bounds at the 45-yard line. And there we see Mikael Mason. That's going to go down as a reception as he gets it around the edge. It just shows the speed.
Yeah, and throws the emergency brake on there, lets the defender over pursue, finds the gap, and is down to the 45-yard line. As OPSU is, again, that drive before the touchdown, they were showing some progress on offense.
There we go again. Keandre Belcher one-on-one with the running back, and the running back's not going to win many of those matchups.
Yeah, and this is Belcher fighting through, fights through the center, plugs that A gap, and then just sends Jones for a tilt-a-whirl ride to the ground for a loss of 1.
It's not often that you can say a defensive tackle is fun to watch, but Keandre Belcher's fun to watch.
He really is. He brings almost a corner-like exuberance to that front line.
Another handoff here on second down, looking for some room, and there is none to be had as a host of Lions jump on the ball carrier and stop that momentum for no gain. That will bring up 3rd and long here, but we have seen OPSU do a good job of converting these 3rd and long situations today through the passing game.
They've been in them consistently, and they've had a couple of big conversions in those situations. Obviously, they were in the 4th and 12. So, yeah, even though they've been stuck in this situation, they've converted it, maybe I'm not going to convert it 50%, but at a higher clip than you'd expect.
So here is 3rd and 11. For the freshman quarterback, Crandall. He's back to pass. Deep drop. He pumps, runs out to his left. Looking for somebody, tries to sling it to the sideline. Too late, out of bounds. It will not be a catch. Incomplete pass that brings up 4th and 11.
And it's Isaac Gowdy on the coverage on the outside. Never lets the man get free.
That's good coverage because he had a lot of time to throw.
A lot of time to throw. Forced Crandall to vacate the pocket. And he throws it the only place he can, but by that point, only place he can lead him is out of bounds. So after a big play or two, they're going to have to bring the punt unit onto the field at the 46-yard line. Chance to pin SAGU deep.
Barbarino gets the punt off. It's a knuckleballer brought in by Moss. He called for the fair catch inside his own 10-yard line. He may have had a little bit of room to run, but just to be safe there, just calls for the fair catch. So SAGU's got their work cut out for them here, taking over at the 7-yard line. And if they want to put some points on the board, ideally 6, they got to go 93 yards to the end zone.
And at least in this situation, this is a spot that you've got to get a first down or two, because this is the same spot OPSU was at in the second quarter when they ended up not gaining any yards and SAGU took over the 34-yard line and punched in a touchdown. So you need to get some space here. Even if you end up punting on this drive, you need a little bit of space to have that punt with those flags almost ironed out in your face right now.
Here is Barlow. He's going to hand it off, and his running back is stood up for no gain. That carry by Krigler is going to be, they may call it a gain of maybe a half a yard to 1 yard, making it 2nd and 9.
And you can really feel SAGU missing that 1-2 punch of Dudek and Keys. Not having Dudek out there, you're still trying to relieve Keys occasionally, putting Krigler out there, but he has not been able to find any sort of momentum, and it will be the Keys who comes back out now on 2nd and 9.
Bunch set here for Barlow. He is back to pass. Look to the flat. He's going to throw it across the middle. He's got his man Jamal Long. His second reception of the day. This one is good for a first down and then some, and it gives SAGU a little breathing room as they move the chains just shy of the 30-yard line.
Big credit to the offensive line here, giving Barlow the time to get that ball out to Long, who then just kind of hustles his way forward. He plays heavy. He plays like a guy that's hard to bring down while also being the home run hitter for the SAGU receiving corps.
6'3", 220. He definitely he's a strong, physical receiver.
He's almost tight end-like, except he plays outside.
They get it to him again here, and he is brought down this time for no gain. It will be 2nd and 10. Tried a little crossing route tree there with Rowe and Long, and it just really wasn't there.
Yeah, that's where Rowe is supposed to be able to draw that middle guy off. Maybe you're almost looking for a little bit of a rub route there, but it didn't happen. And at that point, it looked like Barlow had to choose between one or the other. He said, well, let me get it to my big play guy, see if he can make something happen. No gain in 2nd and 10.
Barlow sends a man out wide to his right, 3 to the right, sends Rowe in motion. He keeps it. He's going to take a shot. He's got Long wide open, brings it in, bobbles it, but he's got room to run to the 20, down to the 10, and it's over for Jamal Long on that play. A touchdown for the Lions, and exactly what they need. They go 93 yards and answer back with a rough end of the first half for a touchdown to take the lead.
What an absolute perfect play. Play action yet again, and they're going to leave Long alone. That's just, he gets left alone coming out. Barlow with the touch, and for a second, everybody was holding their breath worried that he may not pull it in, but he does for a 70-yard touchdown pass on the first drive, a drive that started pinned deep. What a beautiful drive for SAGU to start this drive, this half off.
Kieran Woodley on for the extra point, and it is up, and it is good, and SAGU takes a 17-12 lead. Remember, OPSU went for 2 and failed, which leaves them at a 12 score. It could be 17-14 had they tried the traditional extra points or converted the 2-point conversion. That could be big coming here down the stretch. It turns it into a 5-point lead for SAGU.
And you see the stats jump in a hurry there. Barlow now up to 166 yards passing after being at around 75 to start the second half. Jamal Long now over 100 with, again, about 70 of it on that play. Just a perfectly drawn up play. You get the play action, and that's why Keys has been so crucial. Even though he's only averaging around 3.7 yards a carry, just at 44 yards in the game, he's been so crucial at keeping everybody locked in on him to where the play action worked in that situation. And Barlow with the touch, just laying it in there. Not overthrowing his receiver. At first, when it left his hand, there was a brief feeling of, did he just overthrow him? Did they just miss this touchdown? But it was perfect.
Line drive kick fielded at the 10-yard line. And here we go. He's got room to run here. A great tackle there. If he doesn't make that tackle, that is Joe Reiser. If he doesn't make that tackle, he could be gone. He has some speed to work with. That is Mikkel Mason.
Yeah. Reiser.
Really good tackle.
There was one more guy coming in, but if Reiser doesn't get him All he has to do is shed that other guy, and he could be gone. So we've been calling some secondary special teams players so far today that have made a couple big plays for SAGU. As it is, it will give the Aggies decent starting field position. After the Aggies did get a hot start to the second half, but had it peter out after they crossed midfield.
Got a correction. It was Emil Cola on the return.
Casey Crandall with 152 yards passing and 112 of them to Mikkel Mason. So that has been the go-to. Oh, and we had a flag come in, and I think that might have been a delay of game. A delay of game on OPSU. It felt like it was taking a while to get this going. You never want to see a delay of game like that before you even run a play. That's just not getting your guys out on the field with the right package quick enough. So a 5-yard penalty to start their drive off.
And here's Crandall, fakes the handoff. He's back to pass. Swings out to the flat. He's got his man in motion. He's going to have close to a first down. About 2 yards short there. Trevor Baum on the reception. Or rather, Charge A. Hunt on the reception. And that's a really good play there after the penalty. To pick up 13 of that 15 that you needed. They hand it off. Man in the backfield. He lowers his shoulder. He's going to have enough for the first down. There is Jones.
And again, starting to find a little bit of traction in that running game. Both offenses have come out looking a lot better in the second half. No points yet for the Aggies, but they've looked a lot sharper in between the tackles and, in that pre-snap motion, kind of getting guys open. They've looked a lot sharper in this half already.
Back to pass. Steps up in the pocket. He rolls out now to his left. Swings it out wide and is incomplete. Good coverage on the outside there by the SAGU defensive back that time. That was Isaac Gowdy on the coverage. Makes it 2nd and 10.
Another good job of getting Crandall out of the pocket. He has not been very successful when having to roll out to his right or left and try to deliver a ball to a guy well covered. All of his best stuff has come off of setting his feet in the backfield and zipping passes in on crossing routes, really. And so if you can get him out of the pocket, that means you've probably thrown the entire game plan off for that play.
Touch pass here to Cola. Cola takes around the edge. He's got the speed, but he's going to get brought down right at the line of scrimmage by the man on the outside. It's a really good job by the SAGU defense to stay home and make sure he doesn't get that edge, because if he does, he has got the wheels to make that hurt.
And it's Jeremiah Summerall who's going to get a hold of his arm and hold him in place, and Isaac Gowdy who throws him off his feet with the shoulder pad hit to the hip.
He's shaken up a little bit. Gowdy does come off the field, so it'll be 3rd and 10. Crandall back to pass. He's looking to his left. He's going deep down the right side. He's got a man. Can't bring it in. Just outside the reach of the intended receiver, Jay-Sean Brown. So that's going to bring up 4th down, and it looks like the SAGU defense will force the Aggies to punt once again. Good job by the SAGU defense. That drive kind of felt that they were one play away from breaking something.
Just like the previous drive, a very hot start, and even on that last play there, had an open man. The ball just wasn't very well delivered.
High, short punt, bounces at the 25, and it takes an Aggie bounce, and it does end up touching a player, and it will be downed at the 20-yard line. So that is where SAGU will take over. They're actually going to mark him at the 19. So that's where Barlow and the SAGU offense will come back out here after the touchdown drive on the 70-yard touchdown pass to Jordan Barlow, or from Jordan Barlow to Jamal Long. Again, Jamal Long, the home run hitter for Barlow. If it's getting in his hands, there's about a 50% shot it's going for a touchdown. And we saw that there on that pitch and catch from 8 to 18. 1st and 10 here for the Lions. 8:16 left to go in the 3rd quarter. Barlow back to pass. He's got time. He's got a lot of time. He rolls out to his right. He can run a little bit. He's going to heave it, leap. There's Long. Long gets crossed up with the corner, and it's going to be a flag. They're going to get him for pass interference here. It was double coverage and underthrown, which is very difficult to cover as a defensive back. And this time it's going to result in a pass interference penalty.
Yeah, this is all Barlow keeping the play alive, directing traffic. And he does throw this on the money to where, yeah.
That's a pretty good throw.
That's a very good throw. If that is not interfered with, that's going to hit Barlow right. I mean, it's going to hit Long right in the chest, and that's going to be another pass from Barlow to Long. It will be a pass interference penalty, so that'll give SAGU a big chunk of yards to work with. And yeah, that's honestly not even a bad pass interference move, because that was going to be caught, I'm pretty certain, unless it was just a straight up drop from Long.
And it is a 15-yard penalty.
Yeah, so again, when you look at the fact that it's not a spot foul in college and he doesn't get to run with it, maybe not even the most ill-advised pass interference you're ever going to have.
The 15-yard penalty sets the Lions up at the 35-yard line, 1st and 10. Barlow sends Keys in motion. He's back to pass. He's going to swing it out to Keys. Keys looking for some blocking. He cuts it upfield. He's brought down from behind after a gain of about 5. They mark him down at the 40.
And that's a design screen to Keys. You just have him hustling out there. You got your 2 guys up front trying to lay their blocks. Do a solid enough job, but did a great response right there to come in and get him. The linebacker chasing him down from behind to make sure he doesn't do any more damage. Nice solid pickup of 5 on 1st down. SAGU's offense again starting off with not the best field position at the 19-yard line, have now moved their way out nearing midfield.
2nd and 5 here for Barlow, and this Lions offense sends a man in motion. Keys in the backfield. He's going to fake the handoff and take a shot deep to Johnson. Johnson comes back on the back shoulder. There is a flag. They may get Johnson here for offensive pass interference. There might have been a little push off there. I don't know if I saw it, but Zachariah Johnson, for the time being, has a 1st down.
Yeah, we won't see it on this play. It would take a different angle there. There was separation between Johnson and Greg Wilson, the defensive back in that situation. This will give us a better angle. Just a little bit. Just the tiniest bit of a push. Again, not a ton. Not a ton.
I think that's just adjusting to a back shoulder pass from the quarterback. I thought he did a good job. It's going to be 2nd and 20 regardless, but that's a tough call. That is a tough call. I thought it was a good job by Johnson, but
yeah, that's one of those situations that when the separation exists and you're kind of caught with your arm extended, the flag is going to fly more often than not. A little bit of discussion here.
It's a 15-yard penalty, and it was at the 40. So
is it a 15-yard penalty? Offensive pass interference? That should be a 10-yard penalty.
They took him back from the 40 to the 25.
No argument for SAGU.
Treating it like a 15-yard penalty. So it'll be 2nd and 20. Hand off to Keys. Just try to get a chunk back here, and they get 2.
Just trying to work their way. Keys doesn't have a whole lot of room to work.
So it's going to be 3rd and very, very long here for SAGU.
SAGU taking their time here. Not quite early enough to milk the clock yet.
Not quite.
But when the wind's in your face, it's not a bad idea to run this quarter out.
Here's Barlow. He's just going to take off and run with it. He gets pushed out of bounds. And that's going to bring up 4th down and very long. So the punting unit will come out here.
Another situation where Barlow has to break the pocket and probably just makes the wise decision of not risking anything by trying to heave it deep, not trying to play hero ball, especially when the only things that have really gone wrong for you is your 1 turnover.
Yep.
The defense otherwise has been completely stout since really that 1 broken play. Since then, you've had 3 and out, interception, a touchdown off of a 13-yard drive, and then 2 punts here in the second half.
Here is Green on the punt. He does get it off. It is a spiraling punt. Fair catch called and caught at the just shy of the 35. There's a little bit of contact on the fair catch, but not enough to warrant a flag. We'll call it incidental.
So just a notch over 5 minutes remaining in the third quarter. 2 punts so far for OPSU. As you see their stats there, Jamalrian Jones has upped his average now to almost 3.5 yards a carry. Emil Cola with 112 yards receiving. As Casey Crandall and him have contacted a lot today. But at the moment, they've been unable to get the big play they need here in the second half.
Here is Crandall. He is back to pass off the play action, going across the middle, and it cannot be completed to his intended receiver, Chris Daly. We have not seen him targeted yet so far this afternoon. He was open. The ball was just underthrown.
Yeah, just a little underthrown, and probably again just kind of credit the overall pressure SAGU's been bringing. They've sacked Crandall twice today.
Crandall hands it off this time to Jones. Jones lowers the shoulder, runs into a lot of Lions there on defense, and will be brought down after a gain of about 4. Let's call it 3rd and 6.
And yeah, there was no room to run. No room to run at all. Everything he gained was with guys kind of hanging around him after that first yard or two in front of him. Now 3rd and mid. We haven't seen a lot of these. It's been 3rd and longs or 3rd and shorts all day for both teams. So these kind of 3rd and mids have been rare. This is a big one for both teams.
Back to pass, Crandall. He steps up. Felt the pressure rolling out to his left. He's going to tuck it and run. We haven't seen him do this yet today. Did he get the ball stretched out? There is a flag. I think they're going to get SAGU on a late hit on the quarterback here as he went out of bounds.
And this is going to hurt because I think they were marking him short of the first down.
It was going to be very close. We'll get a good look at it here.
Personal foul.
So let's see here.
Out of the end of the run. Yeah.
He was going to be close.
He was going to be close, and just a little bit of a shove. Not a ton there. But it's going to be 15 yards added on. It was going to be very close to what he needed for the first down.
Nowadays, you can't hit the quarterback as he's going out of bounds. Even if he's still in bounds, they're going to throw the flag every time on a quarterback for the most part. And he was giving up his part of the run there and stretching the ball out. It's still a football move, but you can't hit the quarterback who's going out of bounds like that. It's tough. It's a bang-bang play. Here's the option. They pitch down, and SAGU's got this strung out, but a missed tackle. He's going to get it around the edge, and he's going to turn nothing into, I think, a yard or 2 here. That is an incredible run after the reception of the pitch by Emil Cola.
Yeah, this is almost a pure disaster, and he has to do a little stutter step. That's just what he needs to get around. And yeah, it's going to pick up. They're going to give him 2 full yards after that. You don't usually get that excited after a 2-yard gain, but he was almost brought down back at the 45. It would have been an 11-yard loss. We turned an 11-yard loss into now, still a little bit of progress.
Oh, a little bit of a miscommunication there as he bobbled the snap, but completes it and down the sideline. Here he goes, cuts back inside the 10 and brought down finally at the 2-yard line. There is the punter/receiver, Seth Barbarino. Wow, what a pitch and catch.
And Damaris Heron is pleading his case with pretty good reason. He kind of got pulled down there to allow that to be broken loose, but Seth Barbarino is going to take it on a play that was almost kind of a disaster in the backfield. There was kind of a little bit of a bump between the players, but Barbarino takes it, and we've seen a couple of really big plays from this OPSU offense, and there's another one.
And they're going to just stick their head down and go into the end zone. I mean, OPSU, easy pitch and catch on the play before that. And then old school style football from inside the 5-yard line. Just give it to your workhorse, lower the shoulder, into the end zone, touchdown.
Yep, it all comes down to that big play from Seth Barbarino. And yeah,
Jordan Hunter Jackson, it looks like, on the touchdown. No, correction, that is Jamarian Jones on the touchdown. So he gets himself the touchdown that he was looking for today. Again, don't see him in very many short yardage situations. Like you said, he is home run or bust.
Up by 1.
Going for 2. They're going to hand it to Jones again. He cuts to the outside. Can he get in? Can he keep his feet? He cannot. It looks like they're going to mark him short of the goal line for the 2-point conversion. So that's a good job by SAGU. They've stopped the Aggies on all 3 point-after attempts going for 2 points. So it will be a 1-point game now. OPSU leads 18-17. Kind of an odd score to see.
And he falls forward. Wow, that was actually really close.
Very close.
OPSU certainly thought he had it. We'll see a more of straight down the line version here. He's fighting to the outside. He's kind of held up at the 3-yard line. Oh, wow.
They may have had a legitimate argument that he was in there.
That was very close. That was very, very close. And again, you can't see in the scrum if maybe the knee had touched down while the ball was still just outside. It was very close. You see why OPSU thought they had it. Either way, a drive that was on the verge of kind of ending there after a loss of yardage, another situation where they're kind of stuck in a rut. A big little screen pass to Seth Barbarino takes him down to the 3-yard line. And it's Jones that finishes off the job, and they put themselves up on the board for the first time here in the second half and retake the lead. But yeah, there's now been 4 points, though, left up on the board, really, when you look at it.
6. They missed the first opportunity as well after their first touchdown. 6 points left on the board.
Yep. So I forgot. Yes.
Realistically, I mean, even if you want to cut that in half and call it 21-17, if you just kick the extra point.
At least 3 points with having failed on each attempt, a 1-point attempt and then 2 2-point attempts. So yeah, at least 5 points attempted, but it should be the straight 21 if they just kicked all 3 extra points. So watch for that as this game progresses.
The kickoff is up, and it is fielded at the 20. SAGU should have good field position here. There is a crease. Here's Johnson. He's got the speed past the 50, down past the 40, cuts back in past the 30, keeps his feet. Can he stay up? He cannot. He's going to get brought down from behind, but not before he sets this Lions offense up at the 21-yard line, and that's the kind of spark you needed after giving up a long run and then a touchdown. Get your offense good field position. Zachariah Johnson, a huge return.
And just you get the double block up front. Everybody kind of shifts to that right side, gives him the space to work with. Second time we've seen the kick coverage kind of break down. What a stiff arm there as he fights his way down the field. And he picks up another 2 or 3 yards. Yeah, that's the second time that we've seen the kick coverage break down for the Aggies. This time Johnson takes it all the way down, almost inside the red zone. And SAGU is starting off with great field position again, trailing by a single point.
Barlow with Krigler in the backfield with him. 2 on either side, sends Johnson in motion. He's going to take a deep shot to Long here, looking for the corner of the end zone, goes up, brings it in. Jamal Long, 6'3", and every inch of it up to grab that ball down for a touchdown. Beautiful placement by Barlow, and 1 play, 1 touchdown, 21 yards. SAGU back out on top.
The touch and the strong. That's what that is right there. Just that beautiful little flip touch that Barlow has. And Long with his second touchdown catch of the half. Just strong. I said strong. He is blanketed. He's got a guy hanging onto his right arm. He fights his way up. Just rips that pass out of the air. Just
Extra
like
point
that.
Is up, and it is good. 24-18. SAGU now out to a 6-point lead. Take a look at this. The faith in your 6'3", 220-pound freshman receiver just goes up, mosses the defensive back, and brings it down. And, I mean, just tosses him aside.
Yeah.
I mean, that is just as easy as it gets.
Anytime you're already flexing and celebrating while he's still hanging on to your leg in the end zone, that's how you know you're strong. The ball doesn't even shift. Those are vice-like hands that just seized. That ball is not getting dislodged. And Barlow with the confidence, that ball leaves his hand when Long, watch right here, ball leaves his hand, Long's at the 15-yard line.
Yep.
So he knows exactly where he's going to be.
It may be even a little underthrown, but you just got to know that your guy 6'3", goes up and gets it. It can be underthrown in that situation.
So after a defensively dominated first half where we only had a last-second touchdown because of a fumble recovery,
we got some offense now,
We've got some offense cooking. It's, 17-12, 18-17, now 24-18 in the blink of an eye almost.
And here's a lane here for the Aggies, down past the 50, on the sideline, past the 40. There is Jay-Sean Brown getting a kick return of his own here and setting the Aggies up. We've seen that happen a couple of times today where he starts on the right side of the field and goes all the way to the left, and there's just nobody out there for the Lions.
It's just a track meet now. Big play by the Aggies puts them ahead. SAGU with the huge kick return, 1 play later touchdown. Now, huge kick return sets the Aggies up at the SAGU 46. Like I said, they might have chugged some monsters at the half or something because we've kind of kicked into high energy mode over these last few moments.
Cracked open a Red Bull at halftime, it sounds like. So here are the Aggies. So it looks like they're going to rule him out of bounds just past the 45-yard line. But still, very good field position for the Aggies. Back to pass. There's going to be a flag. It looks like the receiver on the top side of your screen left quite a bit early. Chris Daly. I think he took off running just a tad early.
Off start. Offense, number 1.
Yep, and it will go against Chris Daly. So that makes it 1st and 15 now for the Aggies.
Yeah, he's going to leave the blocks a full half second before the ball gets snapped. That's when all of a sudden that hype of the, hey, we got some offense going, let's run.
Take a breath, get your offense going here. Yeah, absolutely. It'll be 1st and 15. Sends a man in motion. They go another touch pass. SAGU's trying to string it out, and they will do so. A great play there on 1st down. They get the touch pass to number 14, Charjay Hunt. And now there's some scrapping going on over here on the SAGU sideline. Hunt got hit, and his helmet popped off.
Just about all 22 players got to be in on this situation. You've got low blocks, guys going high, helmets coming off. That was a physical play start to finish, and SAGU's the one who gets to claim victory on it, throwing them for a 1-yard loss and bringing up a 2nd and 16.
It'll be, absolutely 2nd and 16, 2nd and long here, thanks to the false start penalty as well as the 1-yard loss on 1st. So Crandall, he is back to pass. It's going to be a design quarterback keeper. Drake Rodriguez and Keandre Belcher say, not on my watch, Mr. Freshman quarterback. They bring him down for another loss here. That didn't fool anybody on that SAGU defensive line.
If that's a design quarterback keeper, it needs to go back to the drawing board because if you decide to send your freshman quarterback straight into the teeth of Keandre Belcher and Drake Rodriguez, that's not a design quarterback run. That's an old King David move, throwing a guy to the front of the lines.
Back to pass. He's going to take a shot deep down the middle of the field, well overthrown. Trying to draw a flag was Barbarino. Not having it as the ball is well over his head. And SAGU's defense, after giving up a long kick return on special teams, comes out and slams the door shut. And they are forcing a punt here on a 3-and-out.
Yeah,
3-and-out
when the ball is placed on your side of the field when it starts. You can't ask for much more. Again, this defense has been really strong all game. The 3 touchdowns, 2 have come off of little individual plays and then 1 off a 13-yard drive.
Watch out. Oh, I thought Jalen Moss was going to get a chance to return it, but he lets it bounce into the end zone.
Smart.
Probably the smart play, absolutely. I think he was itching to get the ball in his hands to make a play.
He was itching for it, but he clearly identified there, let's go ahead and get this ball placed at the 20-yard line rather than risk inside the 10.
It was a low line drive kick, and the coverage wasn't quite there. It's always a little dangerous to try to field it off the bounce, though, on a punt return. A smart play, heads-up play by Moss. There, we got an OPSU fan in the chat, Donovan Washington, rooting on his Aggies. Well, Donovan, we've had a very, very good third quarter here, offensive shootout here in the third quarter, as well as Jacqueline saying, let's go Aggies. It's always nice to have some of the opposing fans. They're going to go long here to Jamal Long. Again, it can't bring it down. That's a really good play by the defensive back that time. Antonio Vaughn slapping the ball away.
Yeah, right after we finish a full 3 minutes of effusive praise for Long, Vaughn's going to go up here and
It's a really
break
good play.
that ball loose, because otherwise Long's going to bring that in. This is a huge drive for the Aggies defense. Down by 6, final minute of the third quarter. You don't want to put your offense down by 2 scores.
Nope.
We haven't seen either team take a 2-score lead yet in this game. It is so crucial, especially with how many twists and turns we've had, how many big plays on both sides of the ball for both teams. It's so crucial for both sides to keep this a one-possession game if they're the ones who want to try to come back and win it.
Back to pass is Barlow. He's got time as they only bring 3. There's no one there. They may even brought 2. Barlow with forever to throw. He's just going to tuck it and run and get driven out of bounds. Maybe trying to draw a flag with some acting. I don't think they're going to pull a flag for that one. It'll be 3rd and 5 here after the run by Barlow.
I mean, Barlow, there's nobody coming. You got guys on the ground, double team on the outside. He's almost had to standing still. He had no momentum to even run from. But the reason with only 3 guys coming, the Aggies did a great job dropping everybody else back and making sure nobody got open.
They're going to call it a 3rd and 6 here for SAGU. There's Barlow. He's got 4 wide, 2 on either side. Barlow back to pass. Sidesteps a defender, and he's running for his life now. He's going to have some room to work with here. Slings it in and out of the hands of his intended receiver, Zachary Johnson. And a flag comes out. There is some extracurriculars happening after the play, and I think this one's going to go against SAGU. The way that OPSU is celebrating, we'll get a good look at the action here. You see Barlow.
Yeah, Barlow's doing everything he can to stay alive. And if Johnson were to catch this might have been able to be turned into a first down, just right off his fingertips. Didn't see
Not
exactly
sure
what
where
happened there.
the flag came from there.
Yeah, it didn't happen there. It would have happened in the moments following that.
I think it's going to go against Zachary Johnson, the way his body language is walking off the field.
Still some discussion from the refs. Working this one out.
The OPSU crowd coming to life as they're going to have SAGU backed up to 4th and a mile here as they're getting ready to punt into the wind. They are set up in really good position right now, is OPSU. They are discussing what the penalty could be.
That drop is huge because it means SAGU does have to punt to the wind. If you'd have caught it, even if it doesn't get the first down, you can run the third quarter out. Here's the call.
Dead ball.
Offense, number 1.
Yep. So they did call it on Johnson.
Unsportsmanlike conduct on Johnson. And that's something SAGU had dodged so far today. They had a couple of those against Arizona Christian 2 weeks ago. Now here in the second quarter, you had a unnecessary roughness penalty and an unsportsmanlike conduct. That's 30 yards worth of penalties. This one is huge because, in the final, your last play, luckily the wind has died down a tad. It's not as bad as it has been, but still punting from inside his own end zone. Seth Green needs to deliver again for his team.
And they are sending the heat. SAGU's in a max protect here. Coach Smith calls a timeout on 4th down here. And he's not happy about something. He's talking to the line judge on the sideline about something. He's upset with something going on here. But either way.
Timeout.
Maybe a timeout for SAGU. Either way, we see OPSU is going to get set up in really good field position here. Even if they do go into the 4th quarter and go the opposite way with a win, they're going to be in very good shape here as far as where they need to go.
And we mentioned, third downs being such an issue for them all year long, only converting a quarter of them. They're almost at 50% today, and that's with a lot of very long third downs. SAGU, that last play being a testament to it, only at 2 for 10 on the day. They have not kept drives alive. Their successful drives have come really on kind of heavy-hitting, first play type things, first and second downs. So they have not been able to keep drives alive consistently enough. So big punt here. Seth Green has bailed his team out a lot today.
He's had a very good day. He's going to get the punt off this time. A spiraling fair catch called and caught for, or brought in at the 45-yard line. So that's about as good as you can ask your punter to do.
Yeah, that's going to travel basically about 50 yards in the air and make sure there's enough hang time to not allow for any return. So OPSU will again set up with solid field position. They started their last drive inside SAGU's territory, right around here actually, started at the 44-yard line. The defense stood strong, so it'll be up to them again to try to hold on to this 6-point lead.
Crandall hands it off. There's a hole. It's closed quickly, but he gets a pretty good gain there on 4th down. He's going to get 4 yards on 1st.
Jamarian Jones has started to find his footing here in the 3rd quarter. Instead of getting, 1 and 2 yards, he's been picking up the 4 or 5 they want out of him. And so that'll end the 3rd quarter.
Yeah, then we go into the 4th quarter. Put your 4s up. SAGU up 6, 24-18 over OPSU. But the Aggies with good field position here as we start this 4th quarter. It'll be 2nd and 6 after the 4-yard run by Jones. Now you see Jamarian Jones. He got that touchdown that put them up for the time being at 18-17. SAGU came back to answer. Casey Crandall, the freshman, over 200 yards, 2 touchdowns, has that 1 pick. But that pick, not really a big deal because they got the turnover and they scored to end the half.
Yeah, and that pick was essentially the same thing as an incompletion since it was on 4th down. It wasn't.
May even argue that it put his team in a better position.
Exactly, yeah. Not that he was throwing the interception on purpose, but that interception did, in fact, kind of hurt SAGU in the long run.
Emil Kola having quite a day. 7 catches for 115 yards, 2 touchdowns. Over 16 yards a catch, a reception. That's crazy. Good game here for Kola. They're going to pitch it out here, out wide. Wow, the speed. He gets past that initial surge of defenders, and Charjay Hunt moves the chains and goes inside the 30-yard line.
OPSU feels like they're playing with fire with these behind the line of scrimmage pitches and runs, but they keep finding a way of just doing enough to escape, block the right men, and get down the field because any one of those can disrupt an entire drive, but they've done enough.
The handoff here to Jones. Jones trying to bounce it to the outside. This time SAGU's defense does a good job of standing him up, and they're actually going to bring him down for a loss of 2.
SAGU has been piling on the tackles for loss throughout the game. Another great one there. Gang tackle, and looks like the first guy that got in there was Christopher Hall. That disrupted the momentum and led to the 2-yard loss.
2nd and 12 now for Casey Crandall in this Aggies offense at the 30-yard line, just about the 30-yard line, called to 29. He is back to pass. Looking across the middle behind his defender, or behind his receiver rather. There was a defender in the area going for the hit. It was Demarius Herron. I think maybe if he picks his head up, he may be looking at an interception here.
Yeah, he's
that's
totally
tough.
Yeah, that's tough to tell. He's totally focused in on the receiver, and that's where the Aggies have been victimizing SAGU on defense, is in those crossing patterns. Crandall's been zipping them in. But yeah, if Herron looks up here, there's a chance. I mean, he's doing his job. He's focused on the receiver. His main job is don't let the play happen.
Yep.
Interceptions come secondary.
Here's Crandall. He's back to pass now, 3rd and 12.
Look
He's going to
out.
get brought down. There is a fumble. The ball's on the ground. SAGU's trying to get on top of it, and they do. SAGU's got possession on the strip sack. Who else but Keandre Belcher hopping on that football and giving SAGU's offense the ball right back.
And just look at the swim move.
Shante Owens. That is a beautiful move from an interior defensive lineman.
98 and 99. Owens throws the swim move, and then it's just him and Crandall eye to eye. And Owens is going to win that battle, and then Belcher's the one who gets to pick it up. A huge strip sack to end this drive, end this scoring threat from the Aggies.
Is it fair that 2 guys that are that big are that nimble?
I mean, it really is amazing just how good they are.
Here's Krigler now around the outside, gets a first down, is brought down from behind. So SAGU's offense now riding that momentum, picking up 14 on the first down carry.
Owens and Belcher on that line, they've got swagger. But they're exciting even when they're just stopping runs. You know, a lot of times these guys that are exciting defensive linemen, they're only exciting when they're getting the big sacks. They are just exciting on every play, and they're always in on it.
And the energy that they bring to the defense is
Huge
always fun.
energy, so you love seeing them get the 1-2 punch, getting the fumble recovery after the strip.
1st and 10 here, new set of downs here for Barlow. He hands off to Krigler. Krigler up the middle, another good run. What a stiff arm, runs over the defender. Wow, that was a very, very physical run there by Krigler. Threw a stiff arm right in the face of DeQuan Charles.
And Krigler, after pretty much nothing doing, he only had a couple of carries, had no traction. He breaks off 2 for close to 30 yards on 2 consecutive runs and shows some power there against DeQuan Charles, a guy we talked about pregame, who is a strong, strong presence in that linebacking core for the Aggies.
And Quadarius Krigler, not necessarily someone we're used to seeing because the injury to Keaton Dudek, and he has stepped up big on this drive. And there he goes, cuts back. Now he's out past the 30. He's got another first down, 3 first downs in a row.
Wow.
For Quadarius Krigler. Wow, good job there.
And another great head fake from Barlow here, who's going to get everybody on the right side to freeze at him to where Krigler just has to worry about his guys on the left side. Does a good job of beating his man to the corner. And yeah, now almost 40 yards on 3 straight runs from a guy who had been held. The few runs he had the one loss of 15.
Yep.
He'd been held in check for any of the attempts he had gotten. He is now completely taken over on this drive and has SAGU inside the red zone looking to go up by 2 scores.
Barlow gets a man to jump off sides. They're going to blow it dead. I think Barlow wanted a shot at the end zone here.
Yeah,
and Coach Smith is upset,
he's upset,
to put it lightly.
Because he wanted the free play there, but I'm sure they're going to rule that it was an encroachment and somebody contacted him, which blows the play dead. Because, yeah, he wanted the free play for his quarterback.
They call it offsides. They don't call it encroachment. So if you call it offsides, you got to let the play go.
About to say, if encroachment whistles it dead, unabated whistles it dead.
He didn't
but
say
Devin
that.
Devin wasn't unabated.
I mean, I get why Coach Smith is angry.
Yeah,
I get it.
might just have been an inadvertent whistle, honestly, or just kind of force a habit, because otherwise that would have been a free play for SAGU. As it is, they do get the free 5, pushing them to the 11-yard line.
1st and 5. They turn around and hand off to Krigler. Krigler cuts it up the middle. Another good run and another first down. 4 first downs in a row for Quadarius Krigler.
That's impressive. You don't usually see a string of 4. Now, a little bit aided there on the 1st and 5. But that is a significant stat. 4 consecutive runs for 4 first downs. You know what I think I'd do right here?
I think he'd give it to Krigler.
I might hand it to Krigler because
they bring in the big fullback, Latrell Tibbett. They call him a tight end, but he's a fullback situation player.
That's sad. Fullbacks have gone extinct. They even call the fullbacks tight ends now. That just shows where we are.
There's Barlow. He's going to hand it to Krigler. Krigler throws a stiff arm. Not this time, as he's brought down for a loss. He's brought down all the way back to the 7-yard line, so it's going to be a loss of about 2.
Can't fault feeding the hot hand. Really, that's just a good job by the linebacking core of the Aggies to get out of the middle of the field and stretch Krigler out to the right side. Even though you had the heavy package in there, you were able to get around it.
2nd and goal from the 7.
Now SAGU will slow it down. If you can score here, the clock definitely becomes your friend, so be sure and take your time and make sure you have the right play. As you see, the pretty solid contingent of OPSU fans have shown up here today in that shot right there.
Making the trip down from the Panhandle. Goodwell, Oklahoma. They throw it up high to Long, and he can't bring it in. They're looking for a high slant pattern maybe on that one. That's a tough catch for anyone to make, and regardless, you risk the shot of your receiver taking a big hit there across the middle.
Another time where you think you can credit the pressure to Barlow there. If he throws it low like he wants to try to hit Long in the chest or make him on a reach play, that ball might get swatted. So had to go up a little bit higher than he wanted to, I think. You see the replay again here. You see the pressure coming, and because of that ball came out just a little bit too much trajectory.
Just barely got there, just in time. So we got 3rd and goal here with 5 seconds of the play clock. They get another jump here. Now they're going to give the free play. Long in the corner of the end zone. Brings it in. What a catch by Jamal Long. Did they blow the play dead? I think they did.
Oh,
that is unbelievable.
90, defense. 5 yards.
Oh. After a stellar catch for long. And SAGU standing around hands on hips because that's twice in a row now that they've blown plays dead.
Did anybody get touched?
No, there's
Nobody's touched. You have to let that go. You have to. No one's unabated to the quarterback. Nobody was touched before the ball was snapped.
Wow.
And it's a touchdown for the Lions if they let that go. Wow. And it's not even 5 yards.
No,
it's half the distance to the goal. So it's 3rd and goal from the 4.
3.5 yard penalty. And Coach Smith is going to call a timeout here.
I would be livid if I was Coach Smith.
It's a good time to call a timeout. Calm your team down a little bit. This is a big down. You're 3.5 yards away from the end zone. Make sure that you have the right play call in. Crucial moment. If you can get the touchdown here, you love where you are in this game. Plus, again, maybe, all right, it's happened. It's happened.
Twice.
Twice.
Same drive.
It definitely hurts a lot more when you actually see the touchdown, and that was going to be another beauty from Long.
It looks like Coach Smith is keeping his cool. Here you're going to see the offsides penalty. Nobody's touched. He's not unabated to the court. He's being blocked. He's essentially being blocked. So they throw the back shoulder fade to Jamal Long, goes up, throws the right hand up, and just tips it to himself. And that's a beautiful catch and touchdown. And they blow it dead. Twice on the same drive is baffling. Is baffling.
I'll go back to it. I don't think offensive pass interference is a 15-yard penalty in the NAIA.
we haven't gotten a ruling on that, but and we see a
to
comment
where you almost kind of wonder, does somebody need a reminder down there that you don't blow a whistle on an offside situation? When it happens twice, I don't think it's a mistake. I think somebody might be missing a rule.
They go Wildcat here. They snap a direct snap, and that's going nowhere. They went direct snap to Zarius Keys on 3rd down, and he gets stopped for a loss of 2. So now they're going to go out and kick a field goal, when in reality, they should have had a touchdown.
Yeah.
That's got to be frustrating.
Disappointing, but still a solid drive, and if you can rely on the sure-footed leg of your kicker here, it's not a very long one. You can get this to a 2-possession lead for the first time of the game.
9-point lead on the line here on the foot of Kieran Woodley. Snap is down, the kick is up, and it is good. Kieran Woodley puts it through and puts SAGU up 27-18. And they go up, like you said, 2 possessions for the first time in this ball game. That is a big score.
Yeah, still all things considered, a very strong drive. You started off with the strip sack on the other end, brought to you by just your ferocious front line of your defense. And then Krigler carries you all the way down the field. Sour taste in your mouth with how that drive ended up ending. But you get the 3 points. You take the 2-possession lead. Less than 10 minutes remaining. Now it's up to your defense. Make another stop right here, and you will love the situation you are in.
There you see a good reminder. If you haven't already, follow us on all of our social medias. We got YouTube and Facebook at SAGU Sports Network, and then Twitter at SAGU Sports Net for up-to-the-minute updates of any goings-on here in the SAGU sporting world. Of course, this is our last broadcast of the spring until we hit fall. Coming back your way with football and volleyball, soccer, all the good stuff. And we see another comment from an OPSU fan, Linkoya Cola. I wonder if there is a relation there. Cola is on fire, and yes, he is. 16 yards a catch. I would call that on fire. He's having a very, very good game, and they may have to rely on him here to get some big plays to try to cut into this 2-possession lead.
Yep, he has half of Crandall's passing yards, and they'll definitely need some big plays here to get back in this. They need 2 scores. At this point, they need him in less than 10 minutes, and they need him with some stops as well.
Ball falls off the tee. The wind becoming a little bit of a problem here for the kickoffs. We've had to see a holder on the kickoffs. We'll see if it stays put this time. And it does. The kickoff is up, and it is going to be fielded at the 1-yard line. This is what you want if you're SAGU's coverage team. This is not what you want. There is a hole there. Thankfully, it closes just past the 30-yard line.
Yeah, that's the risk. You drop it at the 1, but that gives the Jayshon Brown plenty of momentum to where whatever hole is there, he's going to have enough speed to get through it. He will get him out to the 31-yard line. We've seen a bunch of good returns. That's another, that would typically stand out as a pretty solid return. When you've had as many good ones we've had so far in this game, it kind of fades a little bit more, but still, ball at the 31-yard line and a big drive for the Aggies. They need some variety of points here. You don't want to risk being down 2 possessions when you start getting down to that 6-5 minute mark.
They're going to hand it off in the end around, and Drake Rodriguez is right there for the stop. Wow. Drake Rodriguez sniffed that out a mile away.
This right here is why you don't try to cross the train tracks when the ball comes down. Drake Rodriguez steamrolls.
And try to get it to charge a Hunt. And Drake Rodriguez sniffed that out very easily. So that's going to bring up 2nd and 16, a huge loss on first down.
And we'll get the tally at the end of the game, but SAGU has put up a number of big tackles for loss.
They're going to hand it off again to Jones. Jones gets to the second level, but is stopped immediately. That's not a bad run there on 2nd down. It's going to make it 3rd and kind of manageable. It'll be 3rd and about 11.
Yeah, that's one of those, you know, we talk. I wouldn't call 3rd and 11 manageable, but it gets it back to what we like to call 3rd and theoretical.
Yeah.
3rd and 16, 17, you're just like hoping for a heave down the field. This is a theoretical play. You got a lot of plays in your playbook that could pick up 10, 11 yards.
They don't need 10 or 11. If they get 7, they go for it on 4th.
I would. With 8.5 left in the quarter, I absolutely would.
Here's Crandall now facing a big 3rd and 11. He's made some big throws today from the freshman. He's back to pass. Across the middle. They're going the wrong way. He's going to cut it past the 30. A great tackle there on the outside by Isaac Gowdy. All of that for 2 yards. So now we're looking at 4th and 9.
Yeah, Barbarino's going to surrender a lot. If he just goes straight up the middle, he's going to be short, but it's going to bring up around to 4th and 3. Instead, he's surrendering around 2 yards while trying to get the big play. And because of that, that's going to be too much for them to try to bite off on a 4th down.
And
so
there
they
will
are
be
going
a
to be the
punt.
punt.
Yep.
Wow.
Barbarino just had the reception into punt. High snap. He rolls out low line drive. That's going to be away from everybody, but SAGU will have tremendous field position as it stops dead right on the 50-yard line. So that is where the offense will take over, and on a drive that was primarily on the shoulders of one man in Quadarius Krigler, SAGU's in pretty good position here. They've been running the ball well here in the second half, especially in the hands of Krigler. They got a score on their last drive. 7:40 left, you're up 9. SAGU's in pretty good position here.
And outside of that screen pass to Barbarino that went for around 40 yards, this half they've held him to a punt, 3 and out, strip sack, 3 and out. The defense has been so strong to where with just 7:40 left, the offense can, dare I say it, kind of played a little bit safe on this drive. Run the clock a little bit, try to go get some points if you can, but the key thing is hang on to the ball and run the clock.
So here's Barlow. They're in the kind of a pistol formation. He's going to hand it off to Krigler. Krigler showing a little bit of patience there and kind of just weaves his way up for 4 yards. They're going to call it 3 yards, so it's going to be 2nd and 7.
Yep, just gets the initial hole, fights his way forward, and yeah, Krigler has suddenly become the go-to back on these last 2 drives.
And why not? He again, 4 straight first downs in the hands of Krigler last drive. Feed that hot hand. He had almost 40, 50 yards of offense himself.
And it's not like an old school, speed and heavy package with the 2-back set, but anytime you have any sort of change of pace, every running back has their different styles. And when you run keys all day, then you bring out Krigler, it can throw the defense for a loop.
2nd and 7, Barlow. He's going to hand it off to Krigler again. Krigler cuts it back upfield. Keeps the feet moving. He's going to get brought down by a host of Aggies, but not before putting SAGU in a position to be 3rd and 1 here. Only need 1 yard for that first down to keep that clock moving.
And we're seeing some wins up front. We see the initial hole. Those initial holes were not there at the start of this game for either team. SAGU's offensive line has finally started to wear down on this OPSU defense and has given them the space they need. So we're under 6.5 to play.
3rd and 1. I don't think there's any secret what's happening here. They're going to hand it off to Krigler. No, Barlow's going to keep it himself. He cuts upfield, reaches for the first down. He's right at that marker. Will they reward him with the first down?
They will.
They will signal a first down. What a play by Barlow.
And watch Krigler with the block right here. After he takes it, he makes that initial block that had to happen or Barlow had no chance. Barlow goes airborne, extends the ball just enough, and gets just enough down to the 40-yard line. First down. The clock is now rolling, and if you're OPSU, you've got to make a stop right here. You're down 2 possessions, down 2 scores.
And that play alone signifies how much of a competitor that Jordan Barlow is. He stretches the ball out. He puts his body on the line for 1 yard, move those chains, and SAGU's got a first down. From the 40, Barlow sends a man in motion. He's back to pass now. He's taking a shot deep. He's got a man deep. He's to Mooten. Mooten brings it in, down past the 10, down at the 5. A huge pitch and catch from Barlow to Mooten. There is a flag on the field, and it looks like it may be in the area of holding. It's about 5 yards down the field. We'll see what they do here. Ineligible receiver downfield. I think maybe one of the linemen thought it was a run play because that's what they've been doing so far here on this drive, and that's going to wipe out a beautiful pitch and catch from Barlow to Mooten.
Yeah, after they've had a couple
they were about 15 yards downfield.
Yeah, they've had a couple of miscommunications. That was beautiful. But, yeah, a little bit too much work there by the offensive line, fighting their way downfield. And that will send SAGU for a 5-yard loss on first down. Erases what might have, dare I say, been the nail in the coffin.
I think so.
That might have been the nail in the coffin pass. The clock would have kept running. They would have been on the doorstep of the end zone. As it is, though, that's a big 5-yard penalty. It stops the clock, gives the Aggies a chance to really step back up and try to make a key stop here to stay alive in this game.
Barlow just going to let the play clock run down because the clock will run here on first down. Play clock under 10, down to 7. Barlow back to pass. He's going to start running for his life. Off the back foot.
Ooh.
Into no man's land. Thankfully not intercepted if you're a Lions fan. Be second down. The clock does, however, stop on the incomplete pass.
Yeah, that was a little risky. Obviously, he still had a man he was aiming for, but it ended up being well overthrown. Luckily, it overthrew everybody because the only people who were theoretically near this ball were both Aggies. That would be, like I mentioned, the only thing you need to do in this drive is what you've done so far. Pick up a couple first downs, run the clock. You're almost under 5 minutes now. The one thing you absolutely can't do is turn the ball over. So I wouldn't be surprised if we maybe just saw 2 handoffs here to maybe milk the rest of the timeouts out of OPSU's pocket.
Here's Barlow. He turns around and hands it off to Krigler. Krigler stutter steps, lowers his shoulder. He cuts up field. I think there's a fumble. OPSU says they have it. I think that they do. We're waiting on an official signal. They do have it. OPSU has it. Krigler fighting for yardage on second down. Gets it stripped and taken away all in one motion. Tim, I don't think that ball even touched the ground. I think it went from Krigler's possession right to an Aggie defender's possession.
This just gets ripped out of Krigler's hands. We'll see who did it.
It's going to be number 4. I think he just ripped it out, and it landed right in his lap.
That's Jaquavion Daniels, who just goes in. And, yeah, that's just a fight over a loaf of bread, and Daniels wanted it more right there, ripping it out and keeping the Aggies alive. That was about to be 3rd and short. The clock was going to keep moving. The Aggies are right back in this game.
Not over yet. They're going to hand it off to Jones. Jones finding nothing. They're going to give him – he's pushing the pile. He found a couple after initial contact. Wow. That is a really good run there by Jones. He's going to pick up about 6 yards on first downs. We'll call it 2nd and 4. It looked like it was going to be stopped short.
Yeah, he's held up about a 2-yard gain there, but just churning and churning. He knows they need this.
Back to pass. They swing it out wide. He finds his receiver/punter that time. He's got Barbarino, and he's going to get minimal yardage there on second down. Maybe pick up 2, make it 3rd and 2.
Yeah, there's a lot of weaving. Brings up a 3rd and short, and obviously there will be no punts on this drive from OPSU. They will be going for it at every available chance. So they have 2 chances to get these 2 yards.
They're going to hand it off to the man in the backfield. He makes a cut to the outside, and that is a really good run. Gets out of bounds. That is Jared Perdue on the rush. We haven't called his name a ton today, but there makes the most of his opportunity. Bounces it outside for the first down.
Yeah, huge conversion. The clock will stop while they reset the ball. Aggies inside SAGU territory, down by 9. needing a score and possibly an onside kick. But this is not over yet.
Back to pass. It's a quick little pitch outside to Barbarino. Barbarino cuts upfield. He's going to pick up about 6 on first down. Keeps the clock moving as SAGU's able to keep him in bounds. And OPSU trying to do their best to keep these timeouts pocketed on this drive and use them potentially on the defensive side if they can score.
Yeah, just going into hurry up right now. Trying to get as many plays in as you can.
Quick pass, makes a man miss, tries to cut it upfield, but SAGU does a good job of staying home and bringing him down hard, looking like a...
And
there is a scrap here. We can expect maybe to see flags here. The pitch was caught by Sharjay Hunt.
The Aggies.
And here come the flags. It's just a matter of who it's going to be on now. The Aggies are not happy with the way Hunt was brought down. It looked like a professional wrestling match, the way he was tackled.
I imagine we'll see a series of offsetting here because, this is definitely probably very much verging on the unnecessary. You're still fighting, though. So
look at this. It's just a suplex almost at that point.
Yeah, you're still fighting for yards in that situation. And the Aggies come in and immediately go after Damaris Heron. And so now it'll be up to the officials to sort this out.
This is a situation where do they get the initiator of the maybe unnecessary hit, if you want to call it that, or do they get the reaction from the Aggies?
Yeah, but you also had SAGU players coming in.
You did.
This is probably one of those times that you're going to end up getting a couple of offsetting, although SAGU's initial reaction is not one of being very pleased. We didn't see a flag come out on the initial tackle, but the scrum followed so quickly after it was hard to tell.
And you can argue that maybe there should have been a flag on the initial tackle because the way he brought him down may have been a little unnecessary, but the extracurriculars, like you said, that's what drew the flag. And the flag didn't come out until I saw a helmet come off a head.
Yeah.
And I think it came off of Heron's head. I think he took his helmet off, and I think maybe that's what drew the flag. So I think I'm with you. I think it may go against SAGU here. There's going to be a long conference, though, and we haven't seen either team move either way.
Even if you do get the initial flag, you can't ignore the retaliation. Obviously, you're not allowed to do that. You've got to let the play out, Now, I did not, it's a bang-bang play. It was definitely unnecessary. The question is it unnecessary roughness? That's like that area of, where does it fall? We've seen plenty of times guys getting wrapped up and thrown around a little bit.
There are 2 flags on the field. I'm seeing a break in the OPSU players. I couldn't see until just now. There are 2 flags on the field, so we very well could see offsetting penalties.
That's usually the safest way to go in this. You just kind of assume, because you can't have, even if you have 2 or 3 penalties on one team and one on the other, that's still offsetting. So I can't see this being anything but offsetting when it's all said and done, but we'll see.
Both coaches are conferring with officials, both line judges right now. They look like they're ready to march off yardage.
Partial foul. Unnecessary.
Wow.
So not even offsetting penalties. It is just here we go. So 2 penalties on the Lions, 1 during the play. But okay, yep.
So they're going to call. So the unnecessary roughness happens in the course of the play, and then you have offsetting unsportsmanlike conduct.
Yep.
That's how you can have it to where, because usually if you have a fight and you have 4 guys that get called on one team and 1 on the other, that's still a straight offsetting. You can't add and subtract. But since the 1 penalty happened during the course of the play and the other 2 happened after, that's how you do get this 15-yard walk off, while also having offsetting afterwards.
They hand it off to Purdue. Purdue tries to find some room to run up the middle, but he's brought down after a gain of 2. I'm going back to that play. I didn't see a flag thrown for the unnecessary roughness unless it came late. I just didn't see it.
That might have just come in the discussion afterwards. You don't have to have an equal number of flags for the number of penalties on the field. So who knows what each one was. That probably came out in the discussion. Still, less than 3 minutes left to play. OPSU's got
back to pass. He's got a man wide open down at the 5, and it's in and out of his hands. That is a touchdown if he can hold that in. That is Jayshon Brown. And if you're a Lions fan, you are taking a deep sigh of relief there because that ball was on the money to the receiver, just in and out of his hands.
Yeah, he beats his man off the line and is
it's kind of a
wobbler.
Behind him, but you got to bring that in.
If that's a perfectly thrown pass, that's a touchdown. Wasn't perfectly thrown, and he wasn't able to make the adjustment he needed to get to it. So huge 3rd and 8 here.
2.5 minutes left to play. They're going to hand it off to Purdue. That is a questionable call. Obviously, they're going to go for it on 4th down, but they get no yardage. So that's going to make it 4th and 8. The clock is running.
And as we're in a situation, it's good to remind you, the Aggies are at 18 points because they have failed every point after they've tried. If they even have one of those 2-point conversions or 2 extra points, this is a one-possession game.
Yep, one-possession game. And they're not kicking a field goal here. You could kick a field goal here if you wanted to, but no, back to pass. Going deep across the middle. Intercepted. That's going to do it. Going across the middle was targeting Jeremiah Sumrall with the interception. That could end it for the Lions and the Aggies' dreams of a comeback. There is a flag on the field. Hang on a second.
Oh, yeah. And
the Aggies' offense has not moved.
Oh, that's
going to be roughing the passer.
Seeing the replay there, that is a low hit on Crandall. This one is not over yet.
And we talked about it pregame. The Lions had to keep the laundry off the field.
Now, was he blocked into him?
He looked like he was blocked into the quarterback.
It's a low hit, but there was also a block. This is a tough call. We're standing around, though, like this is the Aggies' offense is not moving. I think they're going to get this.
They are going to give
them. And there is the lunge. There's a bit of a block, but then there is the lunge at the end. So just what we were saying, it's over.
Wow. So that's going to be another 15 yards and an automatic first down on 4th down where the quarterback throws an interception. He threw it right at SAGU's guy. He threw it right at Sumrall.
And it's completely unnecessary because the ball's already left his hands. It didn't impact the play at all. That's an incomplete pass or interception. So what appeared to be the game-clinching interception is erased. OPSU still has life. As we mentioned, even with 1 point on the board, this would be a one-possession game right now with a 2-point conversion attempt. So they still need 2 scores in 2 minutes, but they are still alive.
Crandall goes out to the flats. He finds Barbarino. Barbarino gets out of bounds. That will stop the clock. It'll be second down here after the 7-yard completion. A minute 48 left to play. Oklahoma Panhandle has all 3 timeouts. They haven't had to use any on this drive. So they do have a little bit of life here. Down 9, 27-18. 2 minutes to play. Crandall, he's going to roll out to his left. Design rollout, finds a man in the flat. Barbarino. Barbarino gets brought down. That is a huge tackle on the outside by Gowdy. Clock keeps running.
Yeah, good job to bring him down inbounds. Yeah, and if I'm the Aggies, that's where you call a timeout. The clock's running. 3rd down, you need to draw up your 2 plays right here.
That is their first timeout for the Aggies, and we are in a tight one here. This is a good game coming down the stretch here. You see Javier trying to will his Aggies to life. Let's go Aggies, he says.
Yeah, right now you can still pick up a first down, but you kind of don't want to. Because you need the 2 scores, because it's still going to come down to an onside kick if you do get points here, because of those, crucial stands that SAGU had on those point afters. You don't always celebrate those very big because you just gave up a touchdown. It's hard to celebrate stopping a 2-point conversion attempt, but those are so huge right now. So you can pick up a first down, but you kind of don't want to. You need the touchdown. You don't need another set of downs. You don't need to waste time getting down to 40, 30 seconds. You need to go ahead and get a touchdown on this play or the next.
You need it to be, this play for the Aggies needs to be a touchdown or an incomplete pass.
Yeah.
This is what it has to be here. So you expect maybe to see them go with a fade route in the corner of the end zone. And they hand it off up the middle. He's stopped. He's going to have the first down. Oh, I don't know. It's going to be pretty close. I thought maybe the initial surge got him the first down, but they will stop the clock to. They will get the first down.
So the clock will stop while they reset the ball.
So it stops for a couple of seconds. The clock is rolling now. Here is a freshman quarterback. He is running for his life, rolling out to his right, looking for anybody. Throws back across his body. Can't find his man in the back of the end zone. It's incomplete. 1:18 left. It'll be 2nd and goal.
Yeah, it is intended for Seth Barbarino.
He's gone his way a bunch on this current drive. Has been his go-to receiver.
Just trying to stay alive, looking to the back of the end zone. Does a good job of delivering it where there was a chance. Now, the hat came off the official, so it's possible Barbarino had already stepped on the line anyways. It might have been a disallowed touchdown had he even caught it because of stepping out of bounds. SAGU player has to leave the field.
They did a substitution.
Yeah.
Javon Milton came in the game.
He took the long way around.
Yes, he did. They go with a Wildcat, kind of a heavy formation. He's trying to get around the outside. SAGU doesn't allow it to happen, and he does get out of bounds, so the clock will stop. But SAGU with the gain of, the Aggies with a gain of 1 there. It'll be 3rd and goal from.
And look at Keandre Belcher pursuing from the outside, not allowing him to cut back in. You can tell he kind of wanted to cut away because he saw that the corner wasn't going to be there, but he couldn't because Belcher was right on his heels.
He is a nimble 308 pounds. 3rd and goal here.
I
from
wouldn't
the 3.
want to try to outrun him.
No.
Because if he catches you, it's over.
Rolling out to his right, throwing back across his body, broken up in the end zone. Demarius Herron breaking up the KC Crandall pass attempt, and now we are at 4th down, and this is
interesting
score or
decision
bust
time.
here. I've been thinking, at what point may they try a field goal?
Because a field goal would at least keep this game alive.
You got to get points here.
Yeah, no points and the game's over. Kick a field goal, you try the onside kick, but they just obviously don't feel confident in their kicking situation. The only time they tried, they didn't have a good snap and hold, so they will stay on the field. This is the ball game.
This is the ball game. 4th and 3. Back to passes Crandall. He's going across the middle. Has a man. He's got it for a touchdown. And the Aggies are still alive in this game. On 4th down, KC Crandall goes the way of Jayshon Brown, who dropped a touchdown earlier in the drive while they still had 3 timeouts. Makes up for it here and makes this game 27-24 with 1:02 remaining.
At this point, you just got to say that the team needs a new mascot because they need to be named the Cats because they had 9 lives on this drive.
Have not gone away.
An interception that had ended it gets erased.
So they will be going for the 2-point conversion as we've seen them do all day. The pitch to Jones. Jones cuts it upfield. He's brought down and stopped short, and that's a big stop by SAGU, as it will keep this at a 3-point game at 27-24. Say what you will about the touchdowns that the Aggies have scored. SAGU has done a phenomenal job at stopping every single one of these 2-point attempts, because if like you said, if any of these 2-point attempts go in, this is a completely different ball game. They're winning at this point.
It's probably, well, if one of them goes in, they're trying an extra point to tie the game right now.
Or maybe going for 2 to win it.
And you have to wonder, at this point you have to wonder if there's any confidence. They're only down by 3, but even if they were to get this onside kick, I don't think a field goal is in the offing. I think they might try a 15-yard pass before they tried a field goal.
1:02 left. The Aggies do have 2 timeouts. The SAGU hands team is on the field as we fully expect an onside kick.
Just to recap that drive, SAGU has them thrown for a big loss but draws a 15-yard penalty. Then the drive is over with an interception on 4th down, a roughing the passer penalty. They convert on 4th down to keep it alive. I mean, just staying alive at every last chance to where they do get to attempt this onside kick. Absolutely anything can happen here. A drive that only started because they stripped the ball right out of the running back's hand when SAGU was just trying to run the clock out.
The Krigler fumble leads to the touchdown for the Aggies. Here's the onside kick. It bounces high. It's brought in and secured by the hands team. That was Tony Richardson, wide receiver, who brings it in, and that's why these guys are on the hands team. That ball is taking all kinds of funky bounces, and he brings it in. And SAGU is 1 minute away from finishing the season off with a win and a winning record.
Just textbook, get in front of it.
Fall down,
catch it right in the breadbasket, go to the ground. And so now all SAGU has to do is hang on to the ball and salt away what has been a really bizarre game in a lot of ways, but a game that has stayed exciting from start to finish. We've just got really lucky this year. Every game played at Lumpkin Stadium has been a thriller.
The last couple of games have been fun to call.
And this, if SAGU holds on, this will be their first home win. We were talking earlier pregame, their first home win since the 2018 season.
Yep. Winless last year, have not won at home this year. They've had a couple of cancellations of games at home, but to be fair, here's Barlow just kind of taking a longer run there.
About to say, that's the extended kneel down. You snap into a safety position and kind of weave your way forward. Since OPSU still has some timeouts left, you can't just straight up kneel it down 3 times in a row and run the clock out. So not a bad little move to burn some clock, move it down a little bit.
A 6-second run there. You burn clock, you make them use a timeout, It picks up, 4 yards, make it 2nd and 6.
1 left.
So they have 1 timeout left, as the official just mentioned. So doing some mental math, if you were to run that exact same play twice more, that should be enough to run the clock out. But because of the fact that OPSU still had those 2 timeouts, you can't just do the straight kneel down.
Right.
Looking at stats right here, Barlow under 200 yards for the game, believe it or not. But the passes that he's completed have mattered, especially
he's had a really big second half.
Yeah.
He's probably got about 100, maybe 120 yards in the second half.
Yeah, because I think he had around 75 at the half. So, yeah, 120 yards in the second half. And the 2 huge ones to Jamal Long, the 2 touchdown passes.
So we see the Lions come back out in the same formation, 2-back set, either side of Barlow. I expect him to just keep this one again, and he will. Just kind of following the blockers, following Rowe. He goes down. He went down initially. They didn't blow the whistle.
They didn't blow the whistle, yeah. That's the one time you actually want the officials as the quarterback to go ahead and blow the whistle because you don't want to get blasted. They didn't call it. So, yeah, now
Oklahoma Pat as their final.
And so now this has been a pretty, again, this has been a very solid strategy. So pretty much what Barlow's got to do on this play is run around, kill 6-7 seconds, go to the ground, and that should be it.
If he can kill a minimum of 5 seconds, here, that brings him down to 40, and they're looking at the clock running out. 6 seconds ideal, because then, it's over. We'll see what they decide to do here. Those 2 plays have taken about 6 seconds each, so I expect them maybe even run it to the left this time, because they've run it to the right twice.
Yeah.
Maybe try to get them, I'm not talking any play action or anything, but just go to the left.
This may be one of those times you snap back to the quarterback and just have him drop back 10 or 15 yards. You've got everything behind you to take care of. You can hold. You can't hold because then the clock will stop. So no holding.
Yep, no holding.
No holding. But, yeah, just snap it back, run around as much as you can, take the knee, and call it an awesome game for real from Vinny Bailey there. Yeah, this has been an awesome game. Thrilling. Here we are, 45 seconds left, and you still have to call a play to make it end.
Here's Barlow. He is going to just go forward with it. Hits the pile. Clock is moving. The pile's still pushing, and he's going to pick up the first down. That's incredible. Jordan Barlow keeps the feet moving. We saw a guy jump on the pile. It was ridiculous and pandemonium there for a second. But, hey, at the end of the day, the pile picks up the first.
We say Jordan Barlow picked it up, but we can't be sure. He went into the pile and disappeared. It was 22 guys.
That is insane.
Pretty much the only way you could end this game.
And that will do it. The clock is under 20 seconds, and the Aggies cannot stop it. So SAGU will walk out of Waxahachie with a win on their final game of the season on a bizarre play. Barlow keeping the feet running, the pile moving. That's pretty incredible. They may have been trying to strip the ball there, but regardless, that will do it. SAGU wins 27-24. They secure a winning season, and they secure 3rd place in the Sooner Athletic Conference. That's all and well, but you got to think this win feels good. We talked about it pregame. Momentum, heading into a short offseason where you're going to kick off in the fall. We'll be right back here for the Lions, but that momentum has got to feel good for Coach Smith and this Lions team with that short offseason right around the corner.
Yeah, you post a winning record on this very extended season stretching from October to April, post a winning record in conference. Even those 2 losses to Arizona Christian, you were so close at. You look at the season as a capsule, especially coming off of an 0-10 2019. What an absolute turnaround for this team to be sitting here at the end of it all, at the end of a twisting, turning, postponed, canceled, who knows what season with everybody's got the different, structures they got to follow, the different rules you had to follow all year long to come out with your heads held high with a winning season, 4-3. And a thrilling game here. OPSU gave them all they could handle down to the final seconds. You needed all 11 guys on offense dragging your quarterback across the finish line to finish this one off. So what a game to cap off a exciting, bizarre season. And as we said a couple times already, but the good news is usually when we're saying goodbye at the end of a game like this, end of the final game.
I don't see you for about 8 months, Tim.
It's terrible. It's terrible. How do we bear it? But we'll be right back here pretty soon.
It'll be here. It'll be here before you know it, and I'm excited for the fall. And as far as we know, We don't think anything's going to be postponed in the fall. We just don't know at this point. We're preparing for a regular kickoff like we would any other fall. But, of course, if you need to get updated at the SAGU Sports Network, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter.
Now that we're going, now that you can't see us on a weekly basis, bi-weekly basis, whatever, you got to go follow us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter for all the latest updates. When the schedule's dropped, hopefully here in the next 2 or 3 months, we'll bring that to you immediately. So be sure and follow us on all those platforms. Quick rundown there. One of my keys to the game for OPSU was holding SAGU under 370. They did that by a pretty big margin, but the big plays just happened too often. And that got SAGU across the finish line for this 3-point victory. Jordan Barlow, of course, what another great game. Just an efficient game.
Absolutely.
Getting those 3 touchdowns. Jamal Long and Krigler, who coming into the half, I want to say was at around negative 15 yards rushing.
It could be.
And so he picked up around 60 yards in the fourth quarter alone, essentially.
Hey, John Allen, good job, SAGU. Nice win.
It was a
former coach John Allen, I believe, of SAGU.
Very nice win. Very good close to this season. And so now...
Fun game. That was a really fun game.
Now you get to go on to the next, and it's so close that the momentum might just matter for this team as they bring back a lot of guys.
We are definitely hoping so. Thank you again for watching our final broadcast here on the SAGU Sports Network for the spring 2021 football season, as odd as it was. For our entire broadcast crew who worked so hard to set everything up and bring to you these games, for my broadcast partner, Tim Roberts, I'm Adam Ferguson. Thank you once again for tuning in and watching the SAGU Sports Network.